Hey guys, Schweiss made a little misstep here at the 28-minute mark. Just skip that minute.
I thought it was 38.
If you want to. It was 28. Was it 38?
Was it 28 or 38?
I don't know. When we start talking about spoilers in the whatever 8-minute mark.
Yeah, there's a question about spoilers. So
if you have not played Nier Automata, go ahead and skip that minute.
Yeah, whichever one it is,
Whatever. It's an 8. There's an 8 in the one.
Probably even skip 18.
Maybe you should do a post after
Don't
this
skip
post.
18. 18's fine.
Or even 8 minutes. I don't know.
Just skip the whole episode. You're good.
Okay.
Fucking thing, man.
The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, redo.
Shall we play a game?
Player to another.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nude Clan. I am Joe.
Caleb Craig.
Cameron.
And Kaleb Schweiss.
And today we are going to be reviewing, for the 0.5th time.
0.5th time?
Yes. Yeah, we reviewed it halfway before.
Okay.
We're going to be reviewing Metal Gear Solid. We're going to start over because some people might just find this episode, and we'll have. So we're going to go back over development and story real quick, and then we'll go into the rest of the review for Metal Gear Solid. If you're new to this, last episode in the middle, I had a migraine headache that started right before we started recording, and then it just it got bad.
How bad did it get?
It got pretty bad. I was up in that bathtub for about 2 hours, and then I came down here and was just in a nauseous, dizzy, and painful hell.
Yeah, your head was just like pounding.
Got any medical
about
issues that you need to report this time? Any stomach problems? Maybe diarrhea?
Yesterday, I had some stomach problems, and instead of writing in the morning, I writhed in my bed.
Writhed.
Yeah.
You writhed?
Nothing like a migraine to make you appreciate what normal feels like. But
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, those are bad. Have you ever had one, Caleb?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, okay, so we all believe in migraines here.
Yeah.
Well, it's a thing when your fucking eyesight starts to go away.
That is a thing. Yeah, it's crazy.
Last time I had the migraine, I thought it was a different thing because the camp medic said it was something else. So I was like, I don't know what a migraine is. And I realized I had the same thing happen last week, and now it's like, okay, I know what a migraine is, and I know it wasn't because I didn't have enough salt in my body.
Yeah.
The guy thought I was having like altitude sickness or some crap.
Junior medic over here.
Yeah.
Fuck you and your
Called him Papa Doc. He's dead though, so maybe
So he didn't know shit.
shouldn't speak ill of the dead.
Real medics don't die.
He's dead now, though, so it's fine.
It's a joke quote. We gotta get that on
his
a
son
shirt.
was a friend of mine, so I gotta be nice to him. But he was actually a really cool guy. I had a gnat fly into my ear once. Do you guys know about this? You're all like silent.
No.
I had a gnat fly into my ear, and the gnat did not go out. So what I heard, first off, what happened? You know when
earwax.
like a little when like a little flying creature like comes around your ear and it's like
Yeah.
like right next to it's like the buzzing. He went inside and he went deep, and I felt the
Nat
buzzing,
deep.
and all I heard on my right ear was like, and I was like going crazy. Like the people I was around, I don't know, because I was like, oh, what? I was just freaking out because I had a freaking gnat fly into my ear. And so I had to go down there, and then it was like me with my head down in the sink, and he had like the little thing you suck boogers out of babies' noses with the little rubber thing. He had that. He was just plunging water into my ear to get the gnat out.
See, what I was hoping
And the
is-
noise was worse when it didn't work the first time, and the gnat was in there with water now. So it's like, he's like, Jesus Christ. Dude, it was like I was going insane. I felt then what going crazy must feel like. Because it was like my brain, it was in my head. It was in my head. This gnat was in my head, and it wouldn't get out. That was a freaky experience. I don't know, guys. I do not recommend
Getting a gnat in your ear.
going into your ear.
Who was it that like found a spider in their ear? Like it had 2 spiders actually. Larger spider had chased a smaller spider into a guy's ear canal, and he had to go take him out.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's fucked
yeah,
up.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
not like
Just
that.
heard
like
scratching
that very
noises
much
in
at
his
all.
ear.
What the fuck is that?
So we were we delayed Nude Clan today, and a large amount of that delay was me reminiscing about the world's greatest prank.
No, don't bring it up.
Fine. Well,
Good.
Some pain there.
And Caleb hates it. Hates it to this day. He was really mad the first one we told him, though. He was fucking mad. That was probably
fucking
what's
good
funny
reason.
is that I went so long without doing it, and then I had remembered, and I was like, I never told Caleb.
Yeah, that was a bad reveal. He does not take it well.
Oh, when have we talked about this before on the show?
Yes.
Was it on UFF or was it on Nude Clan?
I think it was one of the earlier episodes of Nude Clan.
Okay, good. The internet prank of
And I'm pretty sure that it was mentioned on UFF.
012 or something.
Yeah.
It was good.
It's too good. It's too good. I have to do it in the future at some point if I ever
Yeah,
live with
go
other
ahead.
people.
Somebody else.
It will be great.
Just not me.
As long as they're not paying for the internet, that's fine.
That happened to me. Not with you around.
I did do it to Cameron like for one day, and
Yeah.
that was it. So
Didn't you tell him, though?
the Cody
Pretty
thing
soon.
though, the Cody one I feel bad about to this day because
Yeah.
I forgot.
He doesn't know what I'm talking about either. I mentioned it. I brought it up again at his like the wedding thing, and I was like, "Do you remember that? Where like Joe fucked with the internet and you bought your router thing?" And he's like, "No, I don't remember that." I'm like, "Dude, we came back and you had your own little like internet hub that you bought from like Verizon or some shit. You don't. He doesn't remember it at all, so he blocked it out too. He meets it with like
Dude, 'cause
ignorance. Greg meets it with
'cause
rage.
Cody would just stay up so late playing the video games.
Yeah.
Or whatever he was doing, jacking off on YouTube or whatever. And I was just like, I'm going to screw with him. So I had set up a timer from like 1 a.m. to like 7 a.m. where he wouldn't have internet.
Fuck, I remember what it was that we did. We went to that 14 convention.
Yes.
That's when we left it on.
Yes.
So he was fucked like all weekend.
Oh, man.
That was our Vegas trip?
Yeah, that was was
man.
when we did it. I was trying to remember like what would we all have done? And where no one there would have been angry. That's totally what it was.
Oh, man. It was so good. It was the best. I'm gonna pass it down generation to generation about the great internet.
Why do you keep touching my leg when
I don't know what you're talking about, Craig.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't see anything.
I'm not touching your leg.
Sensually,
Don't ask,
he's
don't
like
tell.
sensually reminiscing, and then he like touches my leg.
Craig, it's loving.
Generation to generation.
Why is it all got to be sex with you, Craig?
Well, he's like generation to
Can't just be
generation
love.
as he like starts fucking rubbing my leg like we're gonna reproduce.
Someone thought I was your father.
You got eggs in there, right?
I remember that.
Which was an insult to both of us.
I laughed about it. You thought you were really pissed about
It's
it.
like, do I look 50 years old to you a-hole? And does he look 12?
Can I have some popcorn, Daddy? Can I?
I did fucking say that. Oh man, it was so great. I don't think we've told this story.
I have. I'm pretty sure I have. Not even on a nude claim. But yeah, we went to the movie theater one day to see a rated R movie.
It was Gone Girl, I think.
And the girl carded Caleb, or almost did. And she's
No,
like,
no, she did card
she
me.
did card you.
Yeah, and she's
she
like,
went,
I didn't
are
think
you,
that you
are
were
you
like...
his dad?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
No,
I'm a year younger than him.
No, she's like, I thought you were 15, and I thought he was your dad, and I just fucking started. There was no other response to that. It was just so fucking funny.
Guys, do I look that old?
No. I mean, if I look 15, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe,
know.
I guess.
That was horrible. I just had a horrible
I bet
day
you just
that
festered
day.
all
Gave
day
like a
about that
1-star
one
review
thing.
to Gone Girl. Fuck this movie.
I bet everything else just tasted everything else was just that much worse all day. You wouldn't let that one go either, would you?
No, he didn't. He kept bringing it up like every 10 minutes. Like even in the movie, he was like, dude, I still can't fucking believe it.
I can't. I cannot believe that. I get that. Maybe you look like you're 18, but me?
No, she thought I was 15.
How old do I have to look to be your father?
at least 33.
At least 45, guys.
Well, if you had a kid
no.
at 30.
If he was 15 and I had a kid at 15,
You'd have to be at least 35.
I guess I would have to be at least 35. You're right.
Yeah.
Wait, that only equals 30, though.
Oh,
he's
wait.
15.
No, yeah, I would have to be at least 45.
No, if he had a kid at 20.
Oh, is that what you're saying?
Like
At
a
20?
you'd have
I'm
to
saying
be.
I would if I had a kid at 15 and he was 15.
Right, you would be 30. That's
I
just
would be
15
30.
plus 15.
I think you could do it at 30.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be horrible. It'd be a horrible situation. But that I could conceive. But I was 23. Come on.
That's best case scenario 30 is what you were at 23, according to her.
And screw that girl.
He should have said, "I'm not his dad, but I can be yours."
I can be yo daddy.
That's what you should have said.
Like, oh, you're old and crusty looking.
You're old and gross.
Young, plump, luscious man next to you must be.
That's right.
Must be a teenager.
The rockin' tits.
Nice tits.
Oh man.
They do go for the tits.
I mean, he does have the prepubescent beard, so
yeah.
Well, that's pubescent.
I had
if
freshly
he has a
shaved.
beard, he is pubescent.
True, yeah.
Can't
Pre would just be the fun.
Pre would just be no.
I mean, you guys didn't have a beard before your balls dropped? That's weird.
I didn't have a beard, I didn't have a
few
beard
years.
for a long time.
Yeah, it took a while.
Took a few years, and Craig's saying it took a while as if he has.
As if it has arrived.
It's for what I got. Yeah, it took a while.
The neck beard may be the worst look in history.
It's a
that
fat
or the
guy
mullet.
look. It's a fat guy look, though, for sure. I don't know what
All it
is.
reminds me of is Dwight's brother from The Office. That's all that the neck beard reminds me of. So it's just that forever. Person who only has neck beard, like it frames their face. It's just disgusting.
And then mega chops to go with it. Yeah.
Schweiss is going for the mega chops.
That's all I can go
That's
for.
all they can go for.
Remember when I did the mega chops at school in high school because that's all they would let us do?
They would only let you have chops?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't let you have
until,
a beard.
Well, I think
And after we graduated. It was after we graduated that they changed the beard policy. Yeah.
Right at the end.
I couldn't have had one then anyway. That's the sad part.
I could have a really crappy one. It was like Caleb's neck hair, only in my face.
Oh, I didn't even have that.
So it was really thin.
Mine was like nothing until I was out of high school. It was crazy.
Well, there's, some of us have more testosterone earlier than the others.
I think
wonder
it's
how
genetic
much.
more than anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
100%
if
is
testosterone
genetic, yeah.
has anything really to have how much facial hair you have.
No, it's body hair.
Yeah.
And that we all have in excess.
Is facial hair not body hair?
No, it is. It's just different. It's more genetic based, like balding and shit.
We are going into.
We need to do the
categories
man
we
test.
Don't know.
We need to
anything
do-
about.
yeah,
This is
this
just prep for the man test coming in November.
Oh my gosh, are we going to do that?
We should. Yeah, I want to test my.
Where's the notebook that had all that information on
I
it?
don't know, but I need to test my seed level. I need to know. Because that was one of the tests. Remember, like sperm count was like one of the things in the man test that we were gonna be like, which video did you jack off to? But yeah,
I got a couple ounces of that one. Yeah.
Dude.
I also need to preserve some of myself before I make myself sterile. That's to prevent reproduction. I'll just pound my balls until they can no longer function. But I will have a little bit
you
of
could
my.
just like sit in ice cold water for a while. Just do that. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
But I need to
Actually
save.
freeze them all.
I need to save some of myself in the freezer. It'd be like a little vial.
Oh no!
I'm saving myself.
He's
Yeah.
talking about that fucking movie. The one where all the kids break into this guy's house and his little vial in the freezer.
Yeah, the fucking don't
breathe.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe.
Oh,
God,
the
I was
semen
like,
part. Oh,
Jesus, that was.
gosh.
There was someone in there that was like
the
absolutely
semen gag
disgusted. Yeah.
was the guy next to me was grossed out. I was grossed out, to be honest. He was like, oh, like I saw his his hand go in front of his face. Like, that was just too much, and it was too much for me. I was,
Yeah, I was like grossed out when she like stuffed it in his mouth.
That's
and then she
what I'm talking
squoze it.
about.
And I was like, why?
The gag part was like, oh,
Like, you know what? This is in your mouth. Fucking drink it.
guys, I want to puke right now just talking about it.
Thank God I haven't seen this movie.
Need to go take a time out again, Joe.
It's pretty awesome, but that was fucking disgusting.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, good shit. Man test coming soon.
Yeah. Semen.
Yeah.
Lots of semen.
In turkey basters.
So you can tweet me at Joseph DeGaulier.
Me at Obsidian Bob.
Me at Nude Clan Cam.
Me at UFF Podcast.
And yeah, boy.
What's everybody been playing this
God.
week?
That's it. That's where we're supposed to go. Thank you. I've been playing Final Fantasy Tactics. Still right smack dab in the middle of that game, and that's all I've been playing. What about you, Craig?
A lot of Final Fantasy X, and then a little bit of Destiny 2.
Sorry, that was loud.
That's it?
And well, I did play some Burnout Revenge.
That's all you've played?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's all I've played.
Wow. All right.
I wonder where this is going.
I don't know.
Okay.
What about, did you say Destiny?
Yeah.
Okay, I blanked that out.
What about Destiny?
You know, I did play that.
Okay, all right.
I might have mentioned it. I don't know.
Destiny 2 or
Destiny 2, yeah.
Destiny 2?
Yeah.
Did you play some Destiny 2?
I did play some Destiny 2, yeah.
What about Destiny 2?
The real
I
question
don't know,
is, what
actually.
about
You know what?
Destiny?
No, you're not sure.
It's been too much time since I don't know.
What about you, Cameron?
You'd look real pretty with that microphone down your throat. Just saying.
I don't have a microphone down my throat.
He would. If you wanted to look pretty in Cameron's eyes.
I gotta shove it down a little further.
I played some Destiny 2 as well.
Did you play some Destiny 2?
And I also played
Wait,
some
Destiny also?
as
Destiny
well.
TOO.
Yeah.
No, it's Destiny
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
But not like the sequel to Destiny 2.
Destiny
We're talking-
2 also.
Yeah. God, that would be a fucking horrible
But then
name for a
to top
game.
that off, I played some Witcher 3. So
Oh, you bought it.
I did.
It's
one you
only
play?
like $20.
Complete
for the
edition
sale.
for $20. So
Is it fun?
Nice.
I'm liking it so far.
'Cause a lot of people are telling me it's like the greatest RPG.
Yeah,
ever
that
made.
everyone's been telling me that too, and so far it seems all right.
And then half of the crew that I've talked to says that the Gwent game is better than the game itself. So I don't know.
Fucking Gwent is awesome. It's so awesome. It is the best card game within an RPG ever.
Well, that I don't. As far as I
there's
know,
a
that's
long-
not a
I know
hard-
that's a niche.
There's a long
of
history of that in RPGs, to be honest.
Yeah, but as far as I can tell, that would not be hard to do.
No, it really was.
Yeah,
But it is
The two
great
card
though.
games, oh, maybe the Fable 2 one.
Oh, that one's actually fun, but that's a.
I could not
memory
wrap
game.
my mind around that.
I also played some more of Resident Evil.
Oh, you're liking that.
Evil.
I didn't make it any further than I did before.
You know what? You should have just bought a PS2, Cameron,
I probably should have.
because it plays all PS1 games.
Yeah, I probably should have.
I was thinking about that yesterday.
I really like the way the PlayStation 1 looks, though. Just that gray brick that sits there. It's great. I love it.
And it makes no noise.
I don't know what's
It makes no sound. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's great.
I have every version. Oh, no, I did have every version but the one in my room like 2 days ago. Because I had my PS4 up there. Alex has her PS3, and then I brought my PS2 to play Burnout Revenge. So it was like the family, except for the PS1. Because I haven't had one of those in years.
I got one. I'll bring it over.
Yeah.
You can add it.
It's great.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I was thinking about that, though, and I was like, you could have just bought a PS2.
I thought about that the moment that he was talking about it. I was like, dude, why didn't you just...
And the sick thing is when I had my PS2, my PS1 memory card was like my treasure, right? Like the PS2 games, I was like, I only have like 2 of those because they're fucking overpriced. But the PS1 on PS2 was like all I fucking did.
Have a freaking mint memory card to go with it, too. Looks like barely used.
Is it also gray and disgusting?
It's also gray, yeah.
Nice. That like
I love it, though.
Matte gray.
Yeah.
Just the way...
Like,
Like,
just
that's
the way
the computer look of the 90s.
It is, yeah.
Like,
It's the IM or IBM.
See, I'm also a guy who really likes mechanical keyboards, and I really like the IBM original mechanical keyboard with the spring-loaded keys. It's great, and it has that nice gray overtone. So I'm being serious.
Does it have
I like
a
the way it
watch
looks.
on it too?
He likes the click.
Hey, speaking of watch,
It's more of a
watch for me?
clack. No, I have not.
No,
No.
bastard.
Yeah.
What?
He needs to pick out a watch for me.
Oh.
He's a
Yeah.
man of watches, and I'm trying to improve my dress one piece of clothing at a time. And,
I have a couple more questions that I need to ask you about that. So
I sent Cam a watch that has like a little Digimon on it from Amazon, and I meant to tell him that it was for you, like as a joke. But then I didn't, so I just sent him a random link to a fucking Digimon watch.
I was like, thanks.
I don't even think I
I
clicked
do
on
love
it.
watches.
I did click on Joe's pillowcase thing he sent
Oh
to
yeah,
us.
and I read it and I was like, "Is this going to be uncensored when I buy it?"
No,
Yeah,
I was
it's
trying to
censored.
look for Final Fantasy
it says
covers.
it's censored in the description. So
No, it's uncensored.
no, I looked in the description. It says censored.
I said our product will be sent uncensored with the spots.
I'll pull it up. But
Okay, because I was like, I wonder how
I was
mad Alex
looking
would be.
for Final Fantasy artwork because we were ranking our top 10 Final Fantasy cover art today.
Yeah.
And all I did was put in Final Fantasy in the search, and that was on page 2. Of a
meant
game
to,
of a series that has 43 games, you get a sex pillow
fully uncensored.
on page 2.
Sex pillow, yeah,
She is popular though.
only naked.
And has a
meant to
serious
send,
camel toe on the
The uncensored.
on the uncensored
Like, isn't
side.
that uncomfortable?
What do you call those? The like body pillow
Yeah, yeah.
things?
Yeah.
What are they called?
I think it's.
I just call them body pillows.
Okay.
I want to get the Nicolas Cage one where it's just like Cage smiling and it says "See you in my dreams."
It's like the one that
That's the one I want.
I had
30
meant-
Rock with James Franco when he has the
Kamiko is
Yeah.
what his body pillow is in. Yeah.
I'd meant to find a pillowcase with just a giant dick on it. And I'm like, hey, Joe, wouldn't you prefer to cuddle up against this? But I couldn't find anything that was
Come
suitable.
up.
No, what you should do is, dude, you should get it a pillow and then you should like wrap the pillow with a heated blanket.
I live with my parents. I live with my
like cuddle a
parents,
giant
and I can
dick.
say definitely not. But does not.
So
give Joe
definitely
anything
order it to
disgusting.
Joe's address.
And don't choose gift. Is this item a gift? Say no.
And title it just the Goyler family.
No, dude, I would kill you. I would kill you. Joseph, I'm not kidding. I would murder you.
Oh, perfect.
Dad's just
It's
like,
great.
yep, I knew it.
Your mom knew it, apparently. Your mom
I
knew
would
it.
slash your
years ago.
tires and come on your doorknob.
Oh, what does that do is be sexual with you?
On the inside, so you can't get out. You're like trying to turn it, and it's all lube.
Wait, you're gonna send him a dick pillow, and you're asking him why everything is sexual with him?
Yeah, because he just really aesthetically likes penises. Come on, guys.
There is a weird look to that, like a very primal. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
It's got a crown.
It's got a
Tingly.
crown on it. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then if you grow out if you make the pubes all nice, it could be like robe-esque, like it's Like if you like mat him down a little bit and then curl him near the end at the base, it looks like a cape.
Hair gel.
Yeah.
Oh my
A king
god!
before his servants. It's beautiful.
What have you been playing,
The
Schweiss?
pube stylist is a new job now.
Yeah. I'm gonna go in order from Monday to now. So, actually, you know what? I think on Sunday, actually, after I got back from Alex's parents' house, I played and completed Vanquish. So I played a little bit more of Vanquish. I beat it on hard. It was not an easy game.
No, no, it's not.
Very frustrating at times, but it was worth it because I got like 3 gold trophies right as I beat the game. So that was pretty sweet. I also played 300. What the fuck is it? 300 March to Glory. That's what it's called. Honestly,
March to Glory.
not the best game, but not the worst game either. It's about as shameless as the movie. So there's a lot of blood, a lot of ridiculous slow-mo. Although there is slow-mo that's intended, and there's slow-mo frame drop slow-mo. And I couldn't really tell. I'm like, is this Snyder or is this just bad? I don't actually know.
Well, if it's Snyder, then it
I
is
doubt
bad.
Snyder made the game.
Well, he
so-
didn't make the game, but his influence is there with the over the top. But the cool thing is you actually play the guy who survives, who's narrating the story, the guy who loses his eye to the spear. You play him in the battle that I think in the second movie they go back and finish the fight because there's the battle at Thermopylae or whatever, which is where 300 is set, and then there's the fight that the army actually comes and fucks Persia up with after that. The second fight where they just fucking destroy him.
Yeah.
That's where kind of the game ends. So like I got to play as that dude. So I guess that was kind of cool. I was kind of hoping the game was done when everybody died, but still had a little bit left. So I played that game. I played God of War Chains of Olympus. I played God of War Ghost of Sparta. I played Parasite Eve, the third birthday.
How was that?
Not good. The direction is bad, and the gameplay is fun, but it's like it's really fucking hard. Like the random enemies were just slaughtering me sometimes, and I would die like over and over and over again. And the fucking I don't know what it is about Tabata and clocks, but like the game clock runs when it's fucking paused. I don't fucking understand why it does that. Because like I pull up my save file and I'm like 11 hours. I started it yesterday. That's because I paused it and just like left it during the day, and it counts it. So I don't have no idea how long it actually fucking took me. The story's all over the place.
Well, you're done?
Yeah, essentially. But I played that for a while. I also played Burnout Revenge, and I downloaded Resident Evil's remake on PS4, and I was going to play that yesterday, but I did not. I played Revenge instead, and I'm about 30 races in.
I think I'm like 20, 25.
Out of 169.
Yeah, it's going to take us a while.
But the nice thing, yeah.
Oh my gosh! What?
Yeah. And you have to get a certain amount of...
You guys nominated it.
We didn't nominate it.
it was...
Wait, that's right.
It was Skull. It was
You're right.
forced. But it's
Skull,
not,
why this one?
you don't have to
Seriously,
get gold
why?
medals, though, is the thing. You don't have to get gold medals like
It's
in 3.
true.
You just have to get enough to
You
unlock.
have to get like the within the top 3.
Basically, what I'm doing is silver medal, and then I move on.
Yeah.
Sometimes silver medal with the 4 stars, sometimes silver medal with the 3, depending on how much I fucking hate what I just did. So, don't worry about getting everything.
I have a similar approach.
Yeah. So,
Cheat.
yeah. So,
Is that all?
Hack the fuck
yeah, that's
out
all
of
I
it.
played.
All right. What has anybody beaten a game? I have not.
Nope.
Yeah.
You piece of shit! You didn't beat anything this week, Caleb?
I told you I wasn't gonna. It was gonna be up to 3 games maybe, and I had a lot less time this week than I thought.
0? Mm-hmm. Wow.
0 yo-yo.
Wow, Caleb. Okay.
There's still 2.5 months in the year.
I know. Threat is real.
Cameron?
Destiny 2. I'm holding up 2 fingers, so don't be a fucking right TOO. They
Thank
did
you.
it anyway.
Destiny TOO.
You should have just done apostrophe TU.
When did you technically beat that? Was it?
It was
technically this
right
week?
after. Oh, yeah, it was right after the episode.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did with
Is that it?
Vanquish.
That's all I did.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
I beat a few games this week.
All right.
so-
Tell us how many.
First one I beat was Vanquish.
Yep.
The second one I beat was 300 March to Glory. And because I played a game that was really awful with Spartans, I decided that, on my
Play
trophy,
a good one with Spartans.
I got to play an okay one with Spartans. So I played God of War: Ghost of Sparta.
Just write Ghost of Sparta.
I also played God of War: Chains of Olympus,
Did you beat that one?
Yes.
Chains
Okay.
of Olympus.
No.
and I beat Parasite Eve. I beat the third birthday.
You beat the third birthday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I beat 5 fucking games this week.
Congratulations.
and you're still behind.
I'm fucking still losing.
And I didn't do anything.
Fuck you, man.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, King Hog still with the apple in his mouth, the apple of my eye. Caleb
right.
Craig, 37 games beaten in 2017.
God.
Caleb Schweiss, 1 behind, 36 games beaten. Jeez.
I should have pushed myself.
That was
just done
really
the
good
one.
work, Schweiss. Should have had that kind of push
I told you,
last
man.
week.
I told you, I make him better.
I fucking beat 3 games last
I had
week.
to
I don't
beat-
know what you're
I
talking
You
I
did
had-
beat 5.
I had
then
to
he
beat
could have
5
beat 5
games.
more this week.
I had to beat 5 games to get him to beat 5 games. That's what it was.
Is that now the record?
It's 5.
It's 5.
I think 5 is
tied.
Yeah,
Tied
5.
record.
I don't.
should be.
I don't
one
think.
week.
Disgusting.
I don't
Man,
think I
more
beat
than that.
more than that last year.
Oh, I doubt it. Last year, I think I've beaten more this year than you beat.
The
last
question
year.
is, can you keep that
think-
pace up? 5
think so,
games a
too.
week.
We'll need to ask Felicia because she won the.
she
Big
actually
Tits
has the
Award,
paper.
and she has it.
I would like the list because I forgot what I beat last year.
God, yeah,
Felicia?
it's all
Most of
fucking
them.
blur.
Felicia, could you
tell me what
could
I-
you scan that?
I threw
Send
that
it over.
away
Did you
ages
tell me
ago.
what I beat? I forgot. I want to keep a list.
Just scan it and send it over.
God.
Okay. Cameron Wilson's in third place with
2 games.
less than half. 16 games beaten this year, which is pretty good.
It's
Okay,
a lot more
for normal people. This is pretty darn good. I would even say my number, last place, of course, 13 games beaten. Still pretty good. That's more than a game a
Joe,
month.
I'm 1 less than the amount of games I beat last year.
I think you'll have 15 by the end of the year if you. No,
How many did
16
you have
with
last
tactics.
year?
I beat
Okay.
17 games last year. So did Joe.
And you're 1 behind right now.
Yeah.
And we still have 2
This
more.
is, we're getting more
getting better
done
at
this year.
this,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're getting more done.
We had a lot of delays
Murdered.
last year. I think. Although no, we've had a lot of delays this year too.
Yeah.
A lot
few.
more delays, I would say.
Heftier.
Oh, I could always just throw Fallout 4 up there. I could beat Fallout 4 tonight, and I throw that up on my list to get.
Dude,
me
so
good.
could I.
And then Cameron's comes in with 23
I
games
could
beaten.
do, and I could do Skyrim.
What would you say if
Eyes
I
are
had?
bloodshot.
What would you say if I had the first Resident Evil beaten by next time?
That'd be fine.
Congratulations.
It's not that long.
It's a short game.
But everyone says it's super hard.
Well, it's
It
hard
can be.
to play.
I keep trying to. I keep half-heartedly
it's hard
playing
because
it,
of the controls,
and I don't
not
get
because
past
of
the
the
first fucking
actual
spot.
difficulty.
And I hate that startup. That startup little thing it does. It's so annoying. We're all with that red filter in the woods and stuff, and then
Resident Evil.
they're all walking. It's like aliens, like an alien scene. Where they're all walking through the high grass, and then these monster things just out of nowhere.
I tried to tell Caleb, you can beat the first what is that game that we played that we hated? I've forgotten. A New Nightmare? Alone in the Dark. Thank you.
Dude,
Alone
I
in the
don't
Dark
want
1.
anything to do with it anymore.
Alone in the Dark 1.
Darks.
That I will, of course, play for $200.
You'll play it if somebody gives it to you.
Yeah. You can beat it in 20 minutes.
I don't care.
Technically beat it in 20 minutes.
I don't want to touch it.
I'm just saying,
Dude,
guys.
you know what? I could technically beat fucking Far Cry 4 in like 10 minutes.
Well, then do it. I don't know what's wrong with, guys. I mean,
think
if,
we need
if
extra-
you really are competitive, compete, mofo.
Well, I think the thing is,
I think we need to set ground rules as
No.
to how you get to the credits.
there's no
Our
ground rules,
ground rule
man.
was credits.
Yeah, it is. Amongst ourselves, we could do something a little more to hold ourselves to the higher standard than the audience members.
Higher standard.
Yeah,
Standard.
the higher standard. But Craig, you tell me that you don't care, but you beat a pigeon game.
I was playing that for fun.
Caleb.
I was
wants to date some
honestly,
fucking
yeah,
birds,
dude. He
man.
was on the thing with me when I was playing it. I wasn't playing it to beat it. I was just playing it for the comedy of the fucking game because it is pretty funny. I mean, there's like a pigeon who goes fucking crazy over like pudding. It has some little funny moments, and like I started a fucking biker gang. It's interesting. I wasn't playing it to beat it.
And yet you did.
It just happened.
Okay. Someday I will actually compete for this award.
Someday
Someday, yes.
You think so?
I think so. I think someday. Hopefully next year.
he's going to compete for it and then get like half as many games as he's got now.
It's all fighting games and all arcade mode. That's
No,
what it shall
if it's
be.
got a story mode, you have to play it. Like Mortal
I
Kombat
agree.
9 and 10.
but
they both have a
not
story
Mortal
mode.
Kombat 1 through 3.
It's true, they
Sure,
don't.
those are all just the tournament, and you're done.
Hint, hint, mofos. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have done some fighting games, and you know what? Somebody criticized me about the fighting games, but the thing is, I actually genuinely enjoy fighting games.
I love them too.
And play them, and it's not just to beat it because they're short. Okay? That is not why I'm playing them. It is because I actually like them.
I love fighting games too, man. I love it when they're called Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat is
'Cause
great.
I just know that control scheme and any other control scheme and speed of the games because the other fighting games are just not as fast.
There are quite a few that are as fast and faster.
Well, I'm just thinking of just the two other big series that are in my head. I've never played Tekken, but Super Street Fighter is really slow. And then
You have to get.
Soul
It depends
Calibur
on
is
the.
also
It depends
really
on the
slow.
Street Fighter game.
Soul Calibur is also really
Because the
slow.
earlier ones, if it wasn't a turbo game, it was slower. But turbo is like just as fast as Mortal Kombat.
So they had to have a special edition to be as fast as Mortal Kombat.
So Capcom does this thing where if they have a fighting game, they release like 40 different versions of it.
Stupid. All right. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations, Schweiss, for being still in second place.
Yep. Congrats.
Do we have a question?
We do have a question.
Which Cameron just slinked away to the bathroom, so he's not going to hear the question.
Yeah, he fucking
But we'll
ran
force
for
him
it.
to answer it anyway.
Yeah.
without repeating it.
Yeah. All right. So this is from Corey Bonsack. He says, "Do you guys mind spoilers for video games? Does it ruin your experience, or does it make your experience better? Do you try to avoid spoilers in video games, or do you have examples of being a game being ruined by or enhanced by spoilers?"
I think spoilers for video games are essentially the same as spoilers for just about any other piece of media, and I hate them. There have been a few times where I will, if I'm going into a game and I'm like, okay, I want to get all the trophies in this game, I want to get the platinum for this game, I'll look up a guide on how to get the platinum, because there are some things that are very time specific or like timing specific. Like I did the crazy thing about beating both God of War games this week is I platinumed both of them this week as well, start to finish, which is disgusting. So I got 2 platinums that I had not even started on also this week. They aren't that hard, but the challenge of the gods make me very angry. Yeah. So there is some difficulty related stuff, but I would look up guides on like, okay, where do I need to go to get this particular thing taken care of? Like, what do I need to keep an eye out for in the game? And so I'll look at trophy guides, and I'll look at, like, things that, and I'll try to remember, like, oh, in this, I need to, like, look up 2B's skirt 10 times or whatever the fuck. I knew that.
I don't
because
think
of-
that one was a hidden one, though.
It might not have been, but I look on PSN profiles. The beautiful site, wonderful site. I love it.
Fantastic.
It is. And I look up the game on that site, and I kind of like catalog my or I plan my playthrough of it. The problem is that there's a fucking trophy that says C2B die, and I saw that before I got there, and it automatically shows all of the trophies, so I had it spoiled. I had no
and now
idea.
You just spoiled it for everyone else.
Yeah.
I hate spoilers.
I hate them.
Excuse me while
Spoiler.
I spoil.
Pardon me. But yeah, it's fuck. I should not have spoiled that shit.
Well, we talk about it in the near
played
review.
it by now.
But people avoid them because they don't want fucking spoilers.
Well, we warned them after, so that at least that happened.
Well, where are we on the thing? 38 minutes? Okay, well, I'll notate and say, hey, there's going to be a spoiler around 38 minutes.
So if you don't read the podcast description, you're an idiot. Is that what you're saying?
No, we'll do it before the episode.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just to cover it. But I hate spoilers. I think in video games it should be treated as another piece of media, except for CDs. Like if Joe were like, "Oh man, the solo in this new Metallica song is great," I wouldn't be like, "Oh, spoiler!" Like you ruined
How
it.
did you not look up the new Metallica song already?
That too.
I had to tell you to look up the new Metallica
Well, no,
song.
I'm saying like if you were to do that, it wouldn't quite work. So it's not the same across all media.
True.
But for the most part, I would say spoilers,
storytelling media.
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
I would say spoilers are awful no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
I can't really think of an instance where it was enhanced by spoilers. I
No.
mean, maybe somebody has a weird story for that, but like, I remember reading some article and then like randomly out of nowhere, they were like, "This is the bad guy from Heavy Rain." I'm like, what? Why the fuck would you put that in an article that has nothing to do with Heavy Rain?
Yeah, and Heavy Rain, you don't fucking know the whole time. You have no idea who the bad guy's
It's
gonna
fucking
be.
like very unclear, but I could see it the entire time because I already fucking knew.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That one, I was like, oh, really? Oh, wow.
There are sometimes. Oh man, there was a movie I saw. Someone told me that the end was a twist ending, and so I was because I knew that the ending was a twist ending.
You were watching?
I was watching, and then I knew what the twist was, like in 5 minutes by the time the movie started.
Yeah, that's a very light spoiler, too.
And-
that ruins the whole thing.
It didn't ruin it. It was still a great movie, but
It might not ruin it, but if someone told you when you were watching The Sixth Sense that there's going to be a twist ending, you would watch, and you can see it. You can see it very clearly.
luckily I watched Sixth Sense when I was 11, and there's not a lot of 11-year-olds talking about the Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
So I did
like, hey, you guys see
I
Sixth
watched that
Sense?
movie and it was legitimately an amazing ending to that movie and experience. So in case anybody hasn't seen The Sixth Sense, there's a twist and you're gonna know immediately now. So so that does piss me off. I don't like spoilers. But yeah, that's. But I want to talk about. I also don't like it when people don't talk about things that like. I like talk about media and reviews and stuff when they say, hey, we're going to talk about spoilers in this video, but if you want to watch the non-spoiler thing, then you can do that. That's great. Of course, they're not doing a long-form podcast, so
Yeah.
it's a little different for us. But what are you doing here, Greg?
Nothing.
Twist is
You just keep like looking like you're falling a little bit and then lifting yourself
I
back.
was falling a little bit, and then I
falling
not.
in love.
so yeah, didn't need to bring attention to that.
I still can't believe you didn't
I don't like
beat-
spoilers. I've never heard of
single
a thing where spoilers enhanced
Yeah, like
the
maybe
experience. What?
and like trophies used to do this shit too. Like you would get a trophy like as you completed something, and it's like, oh, like the trophy name will give away what's about to happen in the cutscene. Like the God of War games do that. Like I beat the game, and like when I beat the final boss, it like popped the trophy for me, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of semi spoiler ish because it sent me this thing showing that the game was over. Like I don't know it's over until I fucking get the credits, but it kind of spoils it lightly for me.
That is one reason I never look at the trophies before I play a game or while I'm playing it.
Yeah, the second reason is that you just don't care. Right?
That is another reason,
just
but
gotta
like
beat it.
I don't. I mean, there are some platinums that I wouldn't mind going for, but I have other games to play.
I have
just don't want to look up the trophies.
A proposal, because we once had the argument about. Well, Cameron, why don't you answer the question?
Yeah.
We need your opinion on this.
Well, my opinion is the question itself is not valid, so I'm not going to answer it.
That's kind of true. Part of the question is not
I mean, go into that. Talk about why you think this question.
Why don't you think it's
Well,
valid?
just the basis of the way it was posed is just so incorrect.
Well, please.
In what way?
Yeah,
It
tell us
just
elaborate.
just in every
what
way.
would be a better way of posing this question?
Well, just not the way it was.
Cameron, please
Quit stalling. Just answer the question.
I don't understand what you guys are.
Cameron,
not
we're supposed to
understanding.
answer this question. It's part of our job here.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
so
I
answer the question. Yeah, it's
I
quit
did just answer
stalling.
the question.
Cameron, come on.
I mean, we all feel that the question just wasn't posed right. So, I mean, one would ask himself, how would you
We all
pose it
answered
differently?
it just fine,
So
Cameron.
how-
You just sat there quietly.
How would you pose this any differently?
I would say it just like they said it in the forum.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the way that they asked it, Ken Came.
I get it.
I just don't know where you guys are coming from. Just seems all wrong to me. So that's just my opinion on the matter. So
All right, we'll move on. Then.
they're just making fun of how I had to leave to take a shit in the
They
middle
know.
of it. So.
We talked about it.
we mentioned it. Yeah,
We're gonna make Cameron answer this question without knowing what the question is.
Now, the question was, how do you feel about spoilers? And then they also mentioned, do you ever think they enhance your experience?
well, it was like, have you ever had a game ruined by spoilers or even enhanced by spoilers?
I would prefer not to have spoilers before I get into a game. I mean, there's certain games where I'll watch quite a bit about the gameplay on YouTube to decide whether or not I want it. But when I'm playing a new game, I like to just enjoy the game and then learn about the game and the story as I go along. I like that more.
Yeah, I like to just experience whatever the story is.
Yeah, I like to experience it naturally, just uninfluenced by
yeah.
anything else.
I mean, certain people have their own.
Certainly, if someone
Benefit,
gave away the ending of the Wheel of Time.
I mean, we were just
talking.
talking. We were just talking about something like this last night. We were talking about The Hangover, and how if you watch it a second time, it's just not as enjoyable to you.
Yeah, because you already know like what happens.
So if someone told you what happens before you go watch it, half the humor is not knowing where the person was. So.
Sure,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And so if you knew about it beforehand, then that's half the humor.
Drew knows the ending of Signs, has never seen Signs, and refuses to see Signs because he says that the ending is dumb.
That's really stupid.
And
And
this-
I'm like, you gotta at least watch it.
Signs is good.
Signs is good, yeah.
There's a lot of cool theories about the movie, too.
I've never seen those.
No, me neither.
About like how the aliens were.
Is this a YouTube deep dive you went into one day?
It was an article because
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking about Signs and I looked up.
It's got a great soundtrack.
Yeah, it
I
does.
just watch the movie for the soundtrack.
It's fucking creepy too. Oh man, that leg coming out of the corn, Jesus, not cool.
Or the birthday party is the one that made me jump like 9 feet in the air.
I love that part.
It made Joaquin Phoenix jump too.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of
I
him.
saw that part too.
Oh!
Yeah, that's a great fucking movie. I like it a lot. The one thing though, I think I've mentioned this on the show before with Signs is like my TV was so dark that I didn't see the alien on the roof when it like cuts to the roof and it goes like. So like it just cut to the roof and went like, and I didn't know why for like the first like 5 times I watched the movie. 'Cause I used to watch movies like all the time when I was younger, just like nothing but movies. And like we got a new TV, and that actually scared the shit out of me. Like the 10th time I watched the movie, I'm like, holy shit, there's one on the roof. Like I had no idea what that scene was for so long. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like this is like when they would go to commercial, they're just like, bam, the house. And then they cut back to the show. Like,
There were some yelps when I saw
When
that.
I actually get
saw that in the
a higher
movie theater,
definition,
like a
then I
full
can finally see
theater.
what's on the roof.
It was a cool experience.
I still like the scary movie version of it. That's pretty great.
yeah, that's funny.
What were we about to lead into? About to say something after the Cameron incident or before the Cameron incident. What were we going to talk about?
I have no idea.
This is problematic. Did you have another question, or was that it?
I guess I could pull up another question.
No, it's
if
all
you
right.
didn't
It's all
know
right.
that.
We can get into what they really want us to talk about, which is Metal Gear Solid.
Salute.
It's an extremely sensitive covert operation. You'll be one man against an entire squad of high-tech special ops. If you want to survive,
I didn't know
you
Harrison
gotta have
Ford was in
brains. You have to be in peak physical condition. The fate of the free world is in your hands, soldier. Failure is not an option.
Sir, aren't these tests kind of easy?
Suicide mission.
Metal Gear Solid.
It has nothing to do with the game. I think
Not
last
at
time I
all.
was killed over here and I didn't look at the trailer. That trailer has nothing to do
It
with the game.
does have one thing to do with the game. Spoiler alert. He is supposed to die in the end with the Fox die thing. Although I will also say another PlayStation series is exclusively based off of a very small thing in the first Metal Gear Solid game. Siphon Filter is also a strain that kills whoever you want it to. So it's fucking based off of Fox die.
There's also a strain in Resident Evil of some kind, right?
True, but that just kills anyone that gets bitten by it. It's not like a thing.
Mostly
you choose.
black people, as we found in Resident Evil 5.
Holy shit! Yeah, well, they did that because it
Wasn't it like
They
in
did it
the
because-
area?
No, well, they did it because the cradle of like existence is Africa, basically for mankind. So they decided to base one out of there.
And then people got really fucking
Yeah,
pissed
they
off.
did.
Or are they
You
saying
killed-
Africans aren't...
No, dude, it was because like you play as a white guy who shoots an army of black people.
There was one white chick that you
They're
killed.
not people, they're zombies.
That's true.
Come on.
I don't like
And
the
that's
zombies.
racist.
That is... Hold on.
Is he
Hold
also
on.
a
Whoa,
cop?
That is
whoa.
offensive.
Whoa. Actual
not
zombies.
people.
All right, whatever.
They're not real zombies either. They're
Oh
like
man, that's
hive
gonna
mind
be a good
things.
drop for
Yeah.
later.
No,
I don't
because
like them as much.
I didn't, whatever. Anyway.
Although that is a technical
Metal Gear Solid.
zombie.
Sequel to Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake. Does any of this sound familiar to you guys?
A little
No.
bit.
Okay.
last
I
time.
honestly thought it was going to be its own series thing, but I guess they were going to call it Metal Gear 3, but due to Metal Gear 2's limited release, they chose the name Metal Gear Solid. It also reflects sort of the solid polygonal look. They were saying it was a 3D thing, so it's a solid looking game as opposed to, I guess, a
Solid looking
liquid
game, bro.
Liquid
looking
game, yeah.
Super NES, or excuse me, a 2D experience, not Super NES.
Well, you play as Big Boss in the first game. Metal Gear.
Development
Oh, okay.
began in spoilers. Development began in 1995 by the company Konami, and the project was helmed by Metal Gear 2 director and Metal Gear 1 designer Hideo Kojima. When it comes to those two games, I think he was also the creator of the story of the first one, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
what designer had it. Anyway, weird titles. But anyway, he's helming this one. It's his big project. From the beginning, it was made with the goal of being the best PlayStation game ever. That was really their goal. And they seem to have hit that goal since its release in 1998. It has been heralded as one of the greatest games of all time by many, many, many publications. So, story.
You want to let me before we get into story? Let me give you the fucking storyline, timeline.
Timeline for
Metal.
Metal Gear. Okay.
So the first one, 1964, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater.
So I did start on the right one.
Yeah, you did. 1970 is Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. 74 is Peace Walker. 75 is Ground Zeroes. 1984. in
These
their
are not when the
universe.
games came out.
No, yeah, it's the universe for Metal Gear Solid. 1984, Metal Gear Solid 5. 1995, Metal Gear. 1999, Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake. 2005 is when Metal Gear Solid was set. 2007 to 09 is the Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty time frame. 2014 is Metal Gear Solid 4. And 2016 to 2018 is the Metal Gear Rising Revengeance game. So we have not quite hit the date in real time, so perhaps the Metal Gear will happen. And we can have David Hayter.
This is the thing.
Announce it to
As
us.
soon as I played this game, I was like, man, I really should start a Metal Gear podcast.
We were going to do it. We talked about it.
We did. And we didn't realize Ultima was going to take 12 years. Of course, if I keep doing this on Tactics,
Yeah.
it's going to take like a
Who
million
do we have to
years.
fucking thank for that?
Me.
That was my
You can
Craig.
thank me. Thank you.
Craig, great.
You're welcome. Jinx. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
No.
9, 10. You can't. You owe me a Coke.
No, don't.
You owe me a Coke.
I gave it to you last
just owe
week.
me another Coke.
I gave it to you last week, man. It's all right. It's fine.
You gave it to me.
Yeah,
You gave it.
I did.
Okay. All right. Fine. Story of Metal Gear Solid, taking place in 2005, apparently.
Yeah.
Ever since we had kind of that off-screen breakdown for Fable review, we try to keep it short, but it's really hard, as I said before. So I have this truncated version of the Metal Gear Solid story. Genetically modified super soldiers. Cameron, you're going to have to tell me, because you've never played Metal Gear Solid, right? You're going to have to tell me if this makes any damn sense. Genetically modified super soldiers turned terrorists take over an Alaskan nuclear weapons facility housing a mech robot with nuclear bomb capability called Metal Gear Rex. They want $1 billion from the U.S. government.
We'll give them more than that for nothing.
They ain't going to do that. So they send Solid Snake, which is a U.S. super spy, to stop the attack.
He's like James Bond, but from America.
Sounds
so
like
he's
a plot
better.
to a shitty 90s movie.
Well, this really is.
It is kind of a 90s
a crappy
movie.
90s movie put into a game. Going through the facility piece by piece, Snake meets up with hostages Donald Anderson, who dies, Kenneth Baker, who dies, Meryl Silverberg, who has a nice butt.
Yeah, that's how you
And-
actually find her in that one part of the game. You have to like watch the way she walks.
Yes,
and-
that's right. We didn't even bring that up. Okay, so the game has a crush on this girl's back end, and Solid Snake also has a crush on her back end. But there's a lot of camera zooms in towards her butt and like slow motion running with like the butt in the frame. It's
moving.
funny. It's funny.
It is a sway, man. That thing is.
And then, later
wants
on,
it.
she's in disguise, and he finds her because of the way she's walking.
Yeah, it's funny.
So, yeah.
It's not as funny as the naked guard when you first see her, and then the guard's got like his ass up, and it's like all blurred out. Left my ass on that.
So he also meets Hal Otacon Emmerich,
Octagon, you mean?
who I call Octagon because my eyes saw Otacon written out, and it looks like the word octagon. So I thought it was Octagon for a few minutes, and then I was corrected. He is. They just had to put a guy who loves anime and who's also a wimp, but a computer genius at the same time. So that's him. And along with those allies, Snake is helped by his radio contacts, some of whom are not who they seem. Spoilers. After many codes, keys, Foxhound boss fights, so you get to fight all these super soldiers at different parts of the facility, sniper shootouts, hostage escapes, and betrayals, of course. Snake unwittingly starts up Metal Gear Rex instead of stopping it and has to destroy it once it's started up. Along with a mysterious ally he meets on the way named Gray Fox, who also dies brutally.
Everyone dies.
Some dude named Big Boss is behind all of this. Then it's Liquid. Or what happened last week? Someone corrected me on that, I think.
What?
I guess Big Boss wasn't behind all this or something like that.
No, it wasn't that. It was. Oh, maybe they did. I don't know. But I haven't played the rest of the series in a long time. But the thing I corrected on you on last week is you said that Snake had the inferior genes, but really it was or no, he had the superior. But
Hold on. We'll get into that again.
He had blue eyes. Instead of,
I have something to talk about.
Liquid Snake, Solid Snake has to defeat at the end. Turns out Solid Snake is also... I'm sorry. So Liquid Snake is a genetically modified super soldier. It turns out Solid Snake is also a genetically modified super soldier, clone from Big Boss, those two guys. But he was given all the dominant genes. At least they say that in the cutscenes that I watched. While Liquid is given the recessive. And as such, is not as good, is what I put on my paper.
I was making all sorts of jokes like, look at me, I'm balding, I'm in my 20s. I've got this fucking British accent, too. I'm not British.
By the way, it makes no sense.
I'm American.
Solid wins.
Inferior.
Escapes with Meryl in like a Halo 2-esque or a Halo 1-esque kind of Jeep ride at the end. which they do in Metal Gear Solid 3 as well. There's like a Jeep
Yeah.
ride where you got to do the shootouts. Much better in that
Much
game.
better in 3.
And more or less the game sort of ends. So, the biggest problems I have with this game and the story. Well, let's talk about the positives first. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do. Let's talk about the positives.
Right.
And I gave the story an 8 out of 10. I'm keeping that score from last week. 8 out of 10, guys. It's good. The story it's a 90s James Bond movie, but better than 90s James Bond movies.
By a lot.
By a lot. I agree. By a lot. There is a love story between him and Meryl where he is instantly in love with her and feels, despite them both being like trained soldiers, and there's got to be some sort of emotional distance between what they're doing, like professionally and like themselves. He should be able to take the fact that she might die just fine. But he has a freak out over this. He's just too attached to her way too quickly. This happens in I assume in real time the game is like 2 hours. So this happens way fast, this relationship between the two of them. And that one, immediately I was like, ooh, he's overreacting to
Super
this.
clingy.
Really clingy. Immediately clingy.
Super clingy. I'm not going to save you from death. I'm not that clingy.
So I found that part to be a little much. And the other part, I gave -2 points for. 1 for recessive and 1 for dominant. Because as I said before, kind of like the mitochondria situation, Parasite Eve, which you brought up last week.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
It's not the brain.
Well, it doesn't have a fucking brain. That's the problem. It just is.
Just because someone has dominant genes does not mean they are better genes.
Right.
And all you have to do is take biology, just a little tiny biology course in high school to get that information.
Okay, so this is.
By the
where I
way,
have to-
balding is a dominant gene.
I know it is.
Not a better gene.
It happens to everyone eventually, but me in my 20s.
Dominant gene.
Okay. All right. So
Same with how your earlobes look.
So you were talking about
Whether or not you have a
the,
hitchhiker thumb.
the dominant and recessive thing, as well as the movies. So there was one movie that I was trying to remember what I was thinking before when I had beat this game was, and with last week Joe being like, it's like a James Bond movie, but it's better than James Bond movies.
From
And I'm
then,
like, yeah,
from the time that this
then,
game came
yes.
out, yes.
And I was like, there's
Not
another
newer
movie
ones.
that's exactly like what happens. And I remembered. It's fucking Twins. It's fucking Twins, man.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny
so in
DeVito
1988, there was a movie called Twins that had Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito
That are supposed to be brothers.
Yes.
Which is
so what the thing is they try to genetically modify the perfect human by putting the dominant genes into one person, and that created Arnold Schwarzenegger. But what he didn't know is that in order to do that, they had to put the recessive genes into another twin, which created Danny DeVito.
I would say those are two very opposite
Oh,
people.
Metal Gear Solid's a rip-off of Twins.
We got to watch that movie now.
And they're both very inaccurate with science.
So the fucking plot of this game is fucking Twins meets James Bond.
I need to tweet Hideo Kojima and ask him how big of a fan of Twins he is.
And the greatest part is that there's going to be a sequel to that movie called Triplets, apparently. And they have another brother that's Eddie Murphy.
Are you serious?
God.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That movie's going to be filming in a year or two.
That's amazing.
They're all old now.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, they are. And crazy.
You gotta watch
crazy,
Twins, dude. It's actually pretty sweet.
What's the other one in that series? It's Twins and there's another movie. So the Triplets would be the third one. I can't remember the other name of the...
I don't think the second
there's
one
a
actually
sequel.
came out.
There's a sequel to it. I promise. It's the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger gets pregnant.
Oh, you're right. I can't remember.
Yep.
I can't remember what that one's
It's
called.
some other bull BS science experiment gone wrong.
I do remember that. Oh my
It's
god.
funny. Danny DeVito's the balding one. He has the dominant gene.
Well, the problem is that it's dominant. So this is what I always, one way that I comfort myself, right, is like, I look it up and studies show that most guys go bald.
Yeah,
but the
eventually,
problem
yeah.
is that it's eventually, they don't go bald and then stay bald for 60 years and then die. They just fucking do it and then they die. So my stats that are like, well, 70%, 80% of us are going to go bald. It's just, it doesn't matter because it's not fucking 26 and losing it all. It's 80 and fucking losing it.
I don't think you should feel bad at all, Schweiss.
Well, fuck you. You have hair. It's easy for you to say. I'm going to have to shave this fucking thing like every other day. That's going to be a pain in the ass. I'm lazy. Look at this beard.
Well, we know that.
Look at this thing.
You could do the comb over.
Disgusting.
I mean,
It's
there's
disgusting.
there's always the toupee.
It is possible.
I don't know why you feel bad. You're going to look like Jason Statham. You got a good head for it. I saw your uncle that looks exactly like you. He's got a good bald head. I assume you'll look like him.
He's like 30.
Yeah, and you got the chiseled, at least you have like chiseled facial structure. Like if I went bald, I would just be like a
fucking
like
potato.
a blonde pimple.
I want this guy to go bald so bad.
Oh, Craig. This guy. That's the podcast
Craig.
audience will love that.
What you need to do is just like keep it the horseshoe. Just shave it a horseshoe like so that you look bald, but you're not.
See, I can't go bald because I have a lot of lumps on my head.
We all can go bald.
and we probably will.
My grandfather on my mom's side died in Vietnam when he was very young, so I have no idea. My dad is not bald. My mom is not showing any signs of balding, like female baldness where they thin out. So I'm assuming if I go bald, it's going to be when I'm older, like after my 50s. So I can
That's
kind of
fine.
live with that. I
mean,
assume,
at that point,
I assume.
I'm gonna have to start lifting weights and shit. Of
course, my dad-
puny bald.
My
guy. These
dad
guys
did
look
not
like
have back
pussies.
hair, but I do. So there are genetic differences.
There are differences.
So that's what happens when you got a Vietnam War, man. Sometimes you lose out,
Agent
knowing whether or not you're going to go
Orange.
bald.
Agent Orange.
That's what happened with Vietnam. No, millions of people won't know whether they're not. They're going to go bald.
That's, millions of people will not know. Not millions.
Unless they had a lot of
Well,
fucking-
maybe. How many people died in Vietnam?
A lot.
Okay, then probably. Anyway,
potentially millions.
I don't know. I just watched half of that documentary. I don't remember them saying a number of people who died, but probably had to finish the documentary.
We need to do that and then like plug in the average amount of children that these people would have like in that time frame, and then we could find out if it is actually millions of people affected.
How many people don't know if they're going to go
gonna lose
bald?
their fucking hair
This is a horribly morbid conversation, honestly.
amongst insensitive people. Yes.
We're just trying to figure out if people are going to go bald or not.
So be afraid.
Be
That's
afraid. Be very afraid. Dominant. This is so stupid. Okay, so you said that the twist was in the credits, which of course I did not have the sound on for. The twist is that Liquid Snake was actually the one that got all the dominant genes, and then Solid Snake's the one who got all the recessive genes. It doesn't matter because it still doesn't work. And I don't know how in 1997. Wait, what year did this come out? 9. Sorry, I had it written down. I read it and I didn't remember. I can't believe that they didn't know that. Like that wasn't like the most obvious. Anyway, it was dumb. It was just so dumb. Everything else is great though, guys. Really, it really is. Except for that giant plot hole that they talk. That's like 30 minutes of the game right there. They're really on that recessive and dominant gene thing, and I'm just like sitting there, just cringing, just what?
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. Although this isn't set necessarily in reality, it's an alternate universe, so perhaps science is different in the alternate universe. I tweeted Hideo Kojima though and asked him if he was a fan of twins. So,
You come back later, you're blocked.
Not again. Not another.
You enjoy
Not
the
another
movie
twins.
no twins.
So the
What
other
year
thing
did
is,
Twins come out?
1988,
Nice.
10 years before the game.
He was a big fan of Twins.
The other comparison I was doing when we were playing the game was that of Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid. There's a lot of similarities between the two of them, not just in look and in kind of tone, the fact that they're both really story based and have a lot of cutscenes, but also the genetically modified super soldiers, and one like thinks he's the super soldier thing. There's like two of them. It's just weird. Like there's something about genetically modified super soldiers that the 90s is really into. 90s video games. Really into that thing. So that's game
in
reminded me
movies.
of that a few times.
That is true, yeah.
Well, I mean, it is an interesting concept and would allow for some pretty sweet gameplay options if you had like a super soldier who could do literally fucking anything that they designed him to do.
He's not that super, though.
Oh, I know.
It does
but I'm
very
just saying.
easy, honestly.
I'm just saying.
What'd you give story again, Schweiss?
I give it a 9. I think it's almost perfect. I love the way I love the way the story like builds upon the future games. Like the conversations that you get from the the gunslinger guy. What the fuck is his name?
Ocelot.
Revolver Ocelot. The stories you get from him, like all of the things that he says just feels like gibberish until you've played Metal Gear Solid 3 and Metal Gear Solid 2 and the rest of the series. And like he's referencing things that happened and that will happen. Like it's just crazy the depth that Hideo Kojima has with his storylines, where it's like, this is here, and this isn't just fucking here as like
he had planned the whole thing
exactly
like, way back.
Yeah, and it fucking fits, and it's ingenious, and I think it's really great. And I honestly don't know of a. There are some problems, like the gene thing is pretty fucking stupid.
It's so stupid. It's not just
bad.
pretty stupid. It is so stupid, and it's so basic information. We all know what dominant and recessive genes are. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they made the recessive guy the. Oh wait, he's not
Which
the
one's
recessive
the recessive guy?
Because there is that cutscene that he says.
Yeah,
that,
who's the recessive guy? Who would know?
but it's funny because recessive the whole time the British guy is the recessive guy, and I'm like, ha.
But Liquid has blonde hair. He is the recessive.
But he's the dominant.
The
in the end.
dominant would have brown hair.
That's true. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true.
Idiot.
Yeah, that part's dumb, but I do think the story overall is really solid, and the
Is it Metal Gear Solid?
I think it is, and I
Let
like
me
the
repeat
idea.
that joke from last
I
week.
like the idea of Metal Gear. I think that's a really solid idea too. I mean, the robot essentially launches a nuclear warhead with like as a projectile as opposed to a missile, so it can't be tracked. Like it's not being tracked by the missile itself. It's just lobbing the fucking thing across the ocean like in a catapult essentially. So I thought that was kind of a cool idea. I fucking hated fighting it, though.
I thought it was a super anime concept.
It kind of is, but they
Giant
don't.
mech.
But they don't overdo it.
Giant mechs.
I don't think
don't
they
bash on the giant mechs.
I don't think they overdo it though with Metal Gear Solid. I think they make it like an impending threat, and you fight it the one time, and then that's the end. Like it's not like the mech game. Metal Gear Solid 4 is the mech game.
Is it?
Yes, but it's fucking awesome.
wow.
So at least as far as I played.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to make a mech a platform for launching a nuke in the first place.
It's so that it's mobile.
Right. But
Liberty Prime tosses mini nukes.
yeah, but mini nukes are for a strategically placed
he
nuke that
tosses them
affects-
like a fucking football, and it is
Yes,
awesome.
But that's
so
for
I don't.
short-range nuclear attacks. But if you're thinking about a nuke that could destroy a larger area, you're going to either have a land-based launch system or a water-based launch system.
It would technically be a land-based launch system.
No, because the mech does other mech stuff.
That's the whole point, is that it's ridiculous and it's like way overpowered.
I mean, you'd either have a nuclear submarine as a mobile launch platform because you can get shorter range missiles closer, or you just have a long range missile on a land platform that doesn't move around like a fucking mech.
But why would you do that if you could put it on a mech?
Why would you do that if you could have a giant robot?
If I could have a giant robot, just period, I probably would.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a weeb, but
It's
because
like-
it's a fucking giant robot.
I mean,
If
honestly,
you
your
want
choices
a
are
mobile-
giant
But there
robot,
is a weeb in the game.
There is a mobile
is a
missile
weeb.
launching platform. That's,
giant robot,
That's a fucking.
or Nothing.
We have mobile missile launching platforms as well for launching short-range missiles.
I think it's a super unrealistic thing, but there's a lot of things in this game that are unrealistic.
Then again, it's a 90s Bond movie, so who cares?
It is a 90s Bond movie. Once again, better than 90s Bond.
Yeah, I would never give a 90s Bond movie a 9. I would
for
take
story.
9 away.
You know what, to be honest, the best one's supposed to be GoldenEye, and I've never seen it. So,
That one's pretty good.
Well, that's like early 90s, isn't it?
yeah. So Die Another Day was that the same year as this one?
99, I think so.
Yeah.
It was around there.
It was
that
around
one's
there.
awful.
This came out in 98.
Is terrible. Anyway,
Fucking Bond.
somewhere around there. Okay. Gameplay. Now we get to move on.
Yeah, we have
This is new. This is new information for our folks at home. Okay. Gameplay. This game, if you've never played it before, is a sneaking and boss-centered game, which is usually the opposite of most games. I remember reading this in a review for something. They talked about how Metal Gear Solid was unique in that in most games, the things that you are kind of dreading are the sneaking missions and the boss fights. And Metal Gear Solid is pretty much only those, and it does them extremely well. So, sneaking mechanics, you got to crawl around the floor while other dudes, you kind of got an overhead view while these dudes with flashlights and guns kind of they
Search for you.
They patrol.
They're just patrolling.
Yeah.
Sometimes they search for you
Yeah,
when they find you.
sometimes.
And so you have to go to the next area and you got to get past the guards. Sometimes you have to kill some people. Sometimes you get caught and have to kill some people, hide again, and then you have to wait till everybody cools down before you can go back out again. Most areas of the game, there are guards patrolling, and so that's kind of like the thing with this game. There's no running through an area. You got to think about it and go on to the next area. Solve maybe a little unusual puzzle with items or something like that. But that's kind of like the main focus of this game. You have one weapon or attack function in this Metal Gear. And it's on the right-hand side of the screen, I believe, and then you can cycle through that, and you can either use a gun or you use your fist, or there's some other. I think that
Grenades,
there's grenades and
snipers,
stuff like that. It's just there's
weapons.
one attack button, and then there's one item use button, and that's the other side of the screen. You scroll another way through those. So it's a very simple game. It is not a very complex system at all. The complexity comes with like how to kill a boss.
Yeah, or I would say there's complexity, Jesus, in the just the standard enemies in the zones too. I mean, one of the things that everyone always calls out about Metal Gear Solid 1 is the fact that the guards, the standard casual, cookie cutter guards that are walking around, if you leave footprints behind in the snow, they'll like get the little question mark above their head and they'll be like, "What? Whose footprints are these?" And they'll just follow the footprints to you. Like it's crazy. Like for a PS1 game, I think that's nuts.
Well, what I'm saying by simplicity, I mean you don't.
It's not a complex combat system.
There's not a complex anything system.
Yeah,
for
it's-
you as the character.
Yeah, you're just kind of you just need to sneak through and sometimes
Sneak,
kill.
occasionally attack, and then
I
use
killed
items.
a lot of people though. Oh, I killed a lot.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I broke almost
He
everyone.
killed unnecessarily.
I broke some necks that I did not.
This game is not. Once again, Solid Snake, not that solid. He dies very quickly and easily.
His game is difficult
So-
as fuck.
Yeah, so this game is not an easy game. The third Metal Gear Solid, which is, of course, my first experience with the Metal Gear Solid series, an extremely easy game.
Yeah, it is.
It's this game with better controls and with infinity rounds on the tranquilizer gun in Metal Gear Solid 3. This has no tranquilizer gun.
Nope.
And
He doesn't believe in that shit.
and controls that are quite blocky. There's guards you gotta get away from. You gotta go through vents sometimes, so you gotta find those. There's security cameras that will go off and piss off the guards, and everything will shoot at you. There's some security cameras that get pissed off themselves and start shooting at you.
Yeah,
which are a
those
lot of
machine
fun.
gun cameras, those are great.
So sometimes you gotta disable cameras if they're in their way, especially later on in the game near the ending levels.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes there's like, why would you ever need 27 security cameras all pointing the same direction on one
You
wall?
are fucking paranoid, right, sir. And I am coming for you.
There's no reason for that. And then there's laser tripwires and the puzzle, the trick with those. Someone had to tell me on Twitch because I did not know. You got to smoke a cigarette so you can see the smoke.
Yeah.
And it'll
shows
see
you the laser.
The tripwires.
Like, how awesome is that for a PS1 game?
It's pretty fucking sweet.
And like, because there's a part where he tells him that he smuggled cigarettes in his stomach. Like, he swallowed them and probably in like a bag, and then he puked them up, basically, is what I assume he did. Unless he like ripped a hole in his fucking belly button or some psycho shit. And then, so
Those
like,
damn recessive genes.
Yeah.
So addictive.
Exactly.
Gotta do what you need to do.
But yeah, there's a part where you have to like get into an area, and to know where the lasers are, you like pull out the cigarettes and start smoking, and like he exhales the smoke, and like you see the lasers, and like that's how you avoid them. Yeah. It's like fucking awesome.
So it's a very interesting and unusual game experience just right off the bat. And I know it's taking from its original game, so I guess it wasn't the first one to do this. I guess Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 were.
I think Metal Gear 2 is when it really starts getting like good.
Maybe, I don't know.
I need to get the 3 from Craig.
Get the Legacy Collection or whatever.
Yeah, to get one.
Well, I have it on my Vita.
Yeah.
I know. You have it on PSN.
All right.
It'll be mine.
Do you have a Vita?
No.
So there's those, and those are just in between boss fights. This game is not technically that long unless you have to restart over and over again and get killed a lot, which luckily this game's only saving grace for the player, because this game is brutal, is that it has checkpoint respawns.
Yeah, I care.
I'm not because I've been playing just so much Final Fantasy for the last few years. I'm not used to checkpoint respawns. I'm used to games going, F you, I know you played 3 hours of this thing, but you died at a bad spot. Sorry, buddy. You're going back to your save file. And with the one notable exception to this, Metal Gear Solid is forgiving in that one respect, and thank goodness it is. Once again, this game is not easy. Schweiss, do you agree that this game is not easy?
Yeah, it's not easy. I think on easy it's not that hard, but on normal it is that hard. This game fucked me up, man. I was getting so pissed at the very end boss, or the Metal Gear Rex fight in this thing. Like Jake was like, "Oh, use chaff and flash grenades." I was like, "I've been," and it doesn't do anything, and it didn't. That I noticed, but it like fucks up the missile
rocket launcher.
On. Yeah, that's all you have to do. But it's brutal.
That's all you have to do the 5th time around.
Yeah,
and eventually it'll work.
The game is very difficult, and I think part of the difficulty comes from some of the controls. Okay, so this game is
all the controls.
I would say this game has decent controls, but they are very picky. They are very precise. Like, we're talking.
I disagree.
We're talking
totally.
Extremely precise.
I wouldn't call that precise.
I would, and here's why. Because the biggest fight, the fight that I had the most problems with before I got to Metal Gear Rex was the fight against the fucking ninja in that room. That guy,
the cyber ninja
was
dude,
fucking me up. All right, and what would happen sometimes is I would get close to the ninja, like really close. Like, we'd be like Cameron and I right next to each other but facing each other, and he would be sort of like on top of me as far as the image goes.
I need
to see this. Cameron, get on top of him.
Cameron, he would be on top of me, and I would take punches at him, but it wouldn't register because he's like where I am, so I'm swinging at something in front of me. But he hits me just fucking fine. So the game is, I think it's got very precise controls, but I don't think they're the greatest controls.
I think that this is the game's biggest problem because it's really ingenious, not only in how you travel around through the game, but also in the boss fights, which I got the list of boss fights here so we can bitch about them in a second. There's 10 boss fights, and we'll talk all about those individually. But my biggest problem with the game, and the reason why I've died so many times, is because it isn't reactive to what you're putting down on the controller. It's so into, and a lot of old games do this, but the problem is that you need precision in this game, and it isn't precise, I would say. Like when you decide to do an attack move, you only have like certain axes in a circle that your character can move in that he can attack, but yet your bad guys they don't care. They're working on different rules entirely.
Yeah.
And and your character has to finish an animation before it can decide, before you can do another thing. So if you've pressed the double kick attack, he has to go through the entire double kick attack before you can say, never mind, turn around this way. Newer games don't seem to have that problem very much. I think I complained about Nier having a little bit of this.
Where the full animation of a thing has to be done before next.
Much worse in this game. Much worse. It, to me, has Super NES animation abilities. Like you have to do a Super NES control scheme in a PlayStation game. And it just, to me, did not age well at all. Certainly, I have been spoiled because the PS2 era was much better in the control scheme department.
Oh, yeah.
And I say PS2, I really started with the Xbox. But the PS2 era, that era of video games, it knew when you were to point at something and react and you could change your mind, the game would follow your lead and not just decide, well, you press that first button, you're screwed, buddy. Wait 10 seconds, and the ninja's going to come back and kick your ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's something that bugged me. Also, the other function in this game, you do have a sniper function or a shooting function. And if you just barely tapped the button, so say you're looking straight forward with the gun, if you barely tapped your button to the left, you wouldn't just barely go to the left. You would go a whole 25 degrees to the left.
Yeah, it's really
so I would say not precise. If I were to say precise,
how are you supposed to
then
land a shot
the
that
game
way?
would. Oh, that's the question, isn't it? Isn't that the question?
The problem is that you jerk
three
when you
left,
get
one
shot.
two
So
right.
you get shot, and then your guy moves, and then you
Yeah,
pull
but
the sniper
also
out.
controlling of the sniper is also not great.
No, it's not, but it's not.
It's pretty
supposed to be. You're not. You're just a regular guy. I know you're supposed to be a
pretty
super
bad.
soldier, but you're still sniping.
Controlling
someone
a
from-
real rifle is way easier than controlling
Not
the
when
rifle
you're
in this
scoping
game.
If you get hit,
Have you? What's the farthest that you've actually used a scope rifle?
I have used this.
No, I'm asking him.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't think it's that easy though. If you're
It's not that
shooting
easy.
at someone that's shooting
but
at you,
it is not that
it's
hard.
not that
either.
terrible. I mean, if you have a scope that has them zeroed in for the target that you're shooting at the proper distance, I mean, there's depending on how far the shot is, there's other things you have to factor in. But it's not like a little twitch of the rifle makes you go fucking 25 degrees off
Yeah,
the left.
I know. I've killed things with guns before,
Yeah.
Cameron. But what I'm saying is, if you were to get shot, I think the game is intuitive in that way, where you get hit by a bullet and your guy jerks up, and then you pull out the gun again, and you're just facing the completely wrong direction. I didn't have a problem. I only died on that fight once, I think, or twice maybe. So it's sick that I have more deaths than you because I didn't die where you died.
Well, you had 30-something deaths on the fucking Cyber Ninja. That's where all your deaths were.
Cyber Ninja and Metal Gear Rex. That's all my problems. That's it. All of it right there.
All my problems were sniper bitch.
But her story was awesome, so it was cool. But yeah, the controls are a little
You know
bit.
what's funny? Sniper Bitch would actually be a name for her.
It would, yeah.
That's true. Sniper Wolf. The control. I hated the controls, dude. I hated them. And this game is genius outside of that.
Yeah, I would say
gameplay.
the level designs are
The
great. The
controls
boss
just
fight.
have not aged well.
The boss fights are very intuitive. I like the controls with the grenades where you hold it longer and you throw it further. I think that's great. I thought that was a cool thing in the tank fight. Tank fight sucked for me because it was a 2-hit kill on me. But and then I kept forgetting about the fucking the explosions laying on the ground. But that's another cool aspect of the
you
game.
want to go through the boss fights?
If you find claymores on the ground, you can lay down and pick them up yourself and use them later.
Yeah,
And
I heard
they
that,
are
and then I
useful.
tried it, and I guess I was facing the wrong way on the...
You need to come at them from an angle of not being in the blast radius, and then you can pick them all up, and you can use them against the Raven guy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That might
I
be
mostly use the Nikita because I'm not getting near that.
The
fucking
Nikita?
guy. The Nikita, whatever it is.
I don't like the way you stress the
Nikita.
other...
Nikita, the
Let's,
addictive substance.
All right. Revolver Ocelot. That was the first fight in the game.
Yeah.
And he had the strings. I died once, I believe. and I died because I went into the middle where you're not supposed to go, and I blew up.
I died a couple times. His damage was pretty high on mine.
Yeah.
He would bounce bullets off of the wall because he's a master of
He's a master
shooting.
revolver.
He's a master of making bullets that suck and bounce. Like fucking...
Oh, I thought it was just going to be like the precursor to Wanted.
Yeah, he just like
curves the
swings
bullets.
it. Yeah. That was a good fight, though. That was cool.
Yep, that was pretty cool. Once again, the tank. The tank was brutal, and then I guess someone told me to run up close to him, and then it was easier. But it still wasn't great because once again the controls what kill you. So I'm pointing at the tank as far as I could tell because my fingers are pointing in the direction of where the guy should be facing to throw a grenade into the tank, and then the grenade would just completely miss about half the time. When I'm throwing the grenades into the tank, which is what you're supposed to do to kill the tank, and so it took me a few tries for those tank battles. With the first time that you come across a Vulcan, then you got Cyborg Ninja, which both of us restarted about 1 million times on.
Yeah, that was fucked up. Yeah.
And he just jumps around. I didn't realize you were supposed to fight him with your fists, so the first few times I just kept on like trying to do this cheating sort of thing with the chafing grenade, and I was like, how many chafing grenades do I have to go through? Which they stun electronic stuff, chafing grenades. How many chafing grenades do I have to go through in order to kill this mofo? And it was a lot, and I came honestly pretty close, and then he of course slaughtered me.
Yeah.
So
with him, I found an area,
found a cheat area,
kind of, where he would just keep jumping the wall. And like he would jump the wall and be right in front of me, and I'd hit him a few times, and I'd run around the wall, and he would like swing like an asshole and just like mess around, and then he would jump the wall again, and I'd punch him, and then I'd run around. I ended up having to use the chaff grenades a lot near the end to kill him. And I tried doing the Claymore thing, but that would always fuck me. So it was a tough fight. Yeah, he was brutal.
Now there's a boss that's very famous in this game, and I thought he was going to be the final boss of the game because he was so advertised beforehand. So I remember in Game Informer magazine's top 10 boss fights, this guy was number 1. And number 2 was Sephiroth. So I was like, yay, Final Fantasy. That's really all I cared about. But number 1 was a guy named Psycho Mantis.
I would say this fight's way better than Sephiroth's.
And I remember Dylan telling me, Dylan from the Dragon Quest podcast, Dylan told me that, you know, he can read your memory card, and also I thought he said you had to switch out memory cards at some point in order to beat the boss. I started playing the game. I tried switching out the memory card, and it did not work. And then I realized for a second, I was like, maybe it's the controller. And so I did that, and then I beat the guy, and he was pretty easy. With the thermal goggles on, he was pretty easy to kill. But it was a really cool, interesting fight because he not only is messing with you in-game, like he's actually he should be a difficult boss in-game, but also he's messing with you, the player.
Yeah.
Through the experience that you're having on the PS1.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would transfer over to your PS4 experience. Like, can you switch the controller?
Yeah, you can. You can switch it up.
You have to go through the menu and
the funny part is that he mentions other Konami games as well. So like he was like, "Oh, you play
Castlevania.
You play Castlevania, eh?" Because I had that Symphony of the Night save on there for when Caleb and I played it for the clan last year. So
wow. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this fight killed me probably like 7 or 8 times, and I would get to the part where the paintings would be flying around, and I would just take a ton of damage. But I got really pissed, quit the stream, and like the next day I was like, all right, I'm just going to jump on, and I know what I need to do. I just need to take my time with it because I was trying to do as much damage to him as quickly as possible, and I was like, just a couple hits, and then I move away. And I did it in the next try. So very iconic fight, though. I think it's way cool. And this is something that Metal Gear does often with the games is they fuck with you as the player.
Right.
Which I think is ingenious. And I absolutely love it in Metal Gear Solid.
There's another moment, which doesn't really work in our HD age, but there's another moment in the game where it like pretends that your TV is having problems. Like,
yeah. It blanks out like it did when you had the old AV connections or like the cable connection
on the Square TVs,
and it just says like Hideo on the top instead of video.
Oh, it's so genius.
Yeah,
it's so great.
Yeah,
it's almost like, oh man, I wish TV still did that so that this could still work.
Yeah, it's awesome. They do that shit all the time in these. I can't wait till you get to 2. There's some fuckery in that one.
So Psycho Mantis is a pretty genius boss fight, and I there was that thing where he's like, I can read your every move. Maybe if I called enough of the contacts, because you can go into the menu and get hints and stuff, maybe then could have gotten some information on like how to kill this guy. I'm wondering, in a world where Dylan didn't tell me the trick of the memory card, which of course is not the trick, it was the controller.
Right.
If I would have ever beaten that guy.
Yeah.
I wonder, would I have figured it out? I don't know.
Would I have quit the show?
The first Sniper Wolf fight, of course, I already bitched about. It was terrible controls with the sniper, and then when she shoots you,
you go.
You do 45 degrees out, and then you slowly can move the gun back in, or eventually you start doing what I started doing, which was just get out of the gun mode, because as soon as you got the sniper rifle equipped, you're in sniper mode, and then get away from her for a little bit, go back in, get back on the ground real quick, and then try to find her again, and then shoot her. I got really good at it the second day of trying to kill this lady. But I had some real problems.
I got really good at it the second try. I also remember that the diazepam, or whatever the hell that pill is in the game, you take that and it calms your nerves so you aren't as shaky with the sniping. Yep. And in one of the other games, I think you could smoke, and that also helps you, calms your nerves so you're a little more stable.
I want to say that's number 3.
It might be, actually, yeah. Fucking guys love
Hind
tobacco.
D.
Oh,
Helicopter.
the D. Yeah, this one, Jesus Christ, dude. Okay, so you...
I only had to restart this one like 5 times.
It was like 6 or 7.
Was this the perfect
easily.
loop that Abrag posted?
Was it me dying onto the helicopter?
Yeah.
The Hind is helicopter, right?
Yeah.
The
one where I fucking beat it and I still died? Yeah, that was that. That was the second
It was the
try.
most perfect loop because it would you'd do the game restart, and that's when the loop would restart for you to come out, and it was just the most perfect 30-second loop that you could watch over and over.
Dude, and I would so what happened is, like, at the very end I got greedy and I was like, this guy's dead. And because this fight, basically, you're on a rooftop, and also Siphon Filter has a fight like this, and it's a cunt fight as well. In case anyone's wondering, I fucking hate helicopter fights in these
Someone
fucking
draw
shooters.
that picture. By the way.
Yeah, draw that. The scissor match of the century.
Just don't post it on the forum.
Yeah, no prawn.
No,
remember?
No, email it.
Yes. So what you basically do is you've got your dominant or recessive brother, right? Twin brother up on the in the helicopter, and you need to shoot rockets at him to take him down.
D.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And he does a lot of strafe moves. He moves around a lot. He comes up like epically and then starts shooting the shit out of you. And one of the loops I had him down to one more hit, and I was like, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to finish this. I go out there, I shoot him, it hits him, his health drops to 0, but he's still shooting his machine gun, and like one last little bullet just hits me and I die. And it's like his health is gone. There's nothing left of this guy. So it then took me like 6 or 7 other turns to beat him.
Oh, man, and his freak out at the end was just perfect.
Yeah, I was getting really mad.
So that was a clip on Twitch?
Oh,
is
yeah,
that right?
It's a clip.
Nice. Yeah, he was a pain. Sniper Wolf number 2, only one try for me, and that was using the Nikitas and cheating the heck out of them, because someone told me to do it in the chat. They were like, you can just cheat this thing with Nikitas.
That's what I did.
And so I did that, and it was beautiful.
I died a couple times trying to do it the right way, though, and then I was like, I think
what
I did
do you do with the
missiles.
Nikitas?
They're controllable missiles in the
Yeah.
game. So like you
If
shoot
it's in
it.
the game, it's not
You
cheating.
can do a POV version or an overhead version, but your steering mechanics are terrible, but you can kind of, the game pauses every time you hit the weapons button, so like in order to have better control, I would kind of just like pause it for a second, go, okay, I need to press this direction, do that, pause it for a second to readjust.
Well, see, what I would do is I would just change the angle of it.
Yeah.
constantly. So
Quickly.
like what happens is
I didn't figure out that trick.
after about 2 seconds, it like launches forward very quickly and goes like full missile mode. So what you have to do is either do what Joe's doing and like control it in full missile mode because it's going pretty fast. And you can't. The overhead camera it sometimes fucks you on like walls because suddenly there's a wall and you're going really fast with this missile and you hit it. But what I would do is I would like turn it up and down constantly when I was in an area that I knew was going to cause me some trouble, and then I would just launch forward when I knew I was in the
There's a
straight.
part where you gotta like use the Nikita the first time, and you're trying to go through multiple rooms, and you gotta kill this computer console.
Yeah,
and that was a million restarts. For
I
me.
died once
It was
on that.
so many.
That's why it's sick that I have
So
more deaths
many
than you.
restarts.
Like where you died, I just like breezed.
Maybe it's just the averaging, you know.
Maybe I don't know.
Anyway, that one was a pain. Not Sniper Wolf 2, but the missile console thing. Sniper Wolf 2 was a lot easier than Sniper Wolf 1.
The Nikita is better in the other games because you get a first-person view, I think.
You get a first-person one in this one. You
I
gotta
never
press the
did it.
button to get into it. That's how I killed Sniper Wolf 2. It was
Are you
easier that way.
serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
Well, fuck.
Vulcan Raven. Tell us about Vulcan Raven.
All right, so this guy is in like a freezer area of the game. He likes to chill in the cold
Likes to
section,
chill.
in the beer
Chilling
closet
like a villain.
at the local Maverick. That's where this guy hangs out.
The beer closet.
He's basically a dude who speaks to the ravens. He's like a weird old Native American guy, and I guess his spirit animal is a raven. And he's just got a shitload of
Sure
ravens
his
around.
spirit animal isn't a minigun.
He likes the minigun possibly more. The minigun doesn't destroy him in the end like the ravens do, though. But he's a big dude, lumbering giant. He's walking around in this big square room that has like a bunch of crates in it that you need to kind of hide around. Best way to kill this guy, personally, I think, is to use the Nikita again.
Turn around the corner when he's not looking in your direction, because if he is, he will
Shoot him with the
murder
stinger.
you. And shoot him with the lock-on.
Yeah,
grenade.
that's a good one too.
I couldn't do the Nikita, man. There was just too little of a hallway. for
Yeah,
me.
and there would be parts where there would be a box, like where there isn't a box everywhere else, so you'd slam into it. I did that, and then if he started coming close to me, I would hit a claymore down.
all I did was the rockets. I only ever hit one claymore on one of my retries. I did it a few times on that one.
I think I died once on him.
In the end, he wasn't a hard boss. It just like figuring out what I was going to do to kill him.
That's what I like about the game. I like that the bosses are tough. They're not easy, but once you figure out what you need to do,
There's a
you
trick
can do
to
it.
all of them,
yeah. And I think that's a good way to
Except
do.
for Sniper Wolf number 1. She's just horrible.
The trick to that is to just be good at the game's difficult mechanics. Yeah.
Screw that. Vulcan Raven I thought was a cool fight.
Yeah, and at the end, the birds eat him. They eat his dead body, so he kind of returns to
Spoilers.
the land. Yeah, spoilers.
Metal Gear Rex is the next
Fuck
fight.
this fight, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking horseshit.
It is rough.
Schweiss loves this
You're
fight.
coming up against a giant mech robot. There's nowhere to hide.
Nope.
So it's all running and shooting, and you can't do both at the same time.
No, and and the biggest problem is like whenever I would go grab that ration box in the top left corner, I would get pounded by the either the sword move that he had, which was anytime you got close to this guy, he would pull out this like light sword thing and he would just like slam the ground with it, and it would do a shitload of health on mine. Or he would do the missiles or the machine gun attack. And basically what you have to do in the end, I figured out, Jake was hinting it in the chat as well, is like you do chaff and stun grenades and you kind of fuck up his lock-on mechanics, and then you kind of run underneath him and shoot him. So it got easy by the final time, but this one I restarted.
I think
probably
I only ever used rockets.
I think I restarted like 30 times, dude. It was crazy, yeah.
See that? You probably made up for all my stuff.
I obviously
that
did.
one.
I know that I had more deaths than you did. So.
Oh, on that one, yeah. I think I only restart. I mean, I was annoyed because the restarts were long on that one. Because
Yeah,
I watched the cutscenes.
Yeah.
Or
where the guy
skip
gets
slowly through the
fucked.
cutscenes. Yeah, the guy gets screwed, and it's just. I think I restarted that one like 6 times, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard. I always got close though, so I was never losing hope on that one. You know.
Yeah.
Now, the fist fight.
Yeah, the shirtless fist fight.
The fist fight for me was Psycho Mantis, or not. Was Cyborg Ninja for you?
Okay, yeah.
The fist fight controls. We were just not jiving. And he was killing me so much, and there's a 2-minute timer on it, which is sick. So I couldn't like take my time and figure out like a strategy. So I eventually did. This entire time I hadn't played with a guide, I went on YouTube and watched someone else kill him.
What you have to do is not do a full combo every time.
Yeah.
There are times where you can do the punch kick, and there are times where you cannot.
I'm so used to games that are button mashers that the idea of like, oh, don't press the button more than once right now, it's like counterintuitive for me.
And one other thing I started doing a lot is like throwing him. Whenever I knew he was going to like get me, I would just hit circle and like throw him over my shoulder.
I restarted that one like a billion times.
I restarted that one a lot too, and I was really mad because I fucking made I did a lot of the game the last day I played. And the fucking Metal Gear Rex fight and that fight were in the same night, so I was pissed, and I was ready to be done with this game like hours before this. And I was getting so fucking fed up with it, but the fist fight wasn't that bad. And then, of course, we have that chase scene at the end. I never died on that. I got really fucking close. The asshole at the very end of the game was causing some serious problems. And fighting Liquid in that thing, he almost killed me, but I made it.
Wow.
And
yeah, I didn't die on that part either. I didn't even think about that.
One of the other cool gameplay elements was the key card at the very end. Where
key card, yeah. I got a
game-
list of weird things. So I got torture BS, temperature keys, and sick tower written down here. So key card, yes.
The key card, there's a key card that you get in the game that activates Metal Gear Rex. And basically what you're trying to do is shut it down. But
you're light.
The guy's code name is Master. He's like one of the guys that trained Snake, I guess, in the past, and he's been talking to you the whole time, and he like tells you how to shut down Metal Gear Rex, which is kind of dumb because it's not really moving, so like it should be clear that it's not on, and he's just trying to get you to turn it on for him. And they're like, okay, the key card changes based on its temperature, so you have one for room temperature, so you just plug that one in right away, and then you have one where you have to like get the key card really cold, so you go back to the place where you fought the Raven guy, and you stay in there.
And you have to go through the facility and get to these places quickly and go back quickly.
Yeah, and you go there until the card is blue in your menu, so you've cooled off the card, and you run back, you plug it in, and then you run back to the place the furnace place, which will kill you. Oh my god, dude, there's a ration in the furnace place that I could not get to save my life. There's like a little, it's like a fucking, it's a ration on the corner, and there's a lava pool, and then there's a little tiny fucking walkway to go get the ration. And I need rations in my difficulty because I take damage. I take a lot of damage, and there's not much health. So I went after this fucking ration at least 4 times, and I was like, I can do it. I made it past this part. I know this part like of the game forever now. This will be the last thing that runs through my mind when I'm dying is this fucking ration. And so I would like sneak over to the ration, and like I crawled slowly across it. I picked up the ration, and then like I walk over just a little bit, and I just like plop off into the fucking lava, like over and over again. And it's just this cock tease of a ration out there, and like you have to go on this tiny little platform, and I cannot get it. So I just left it. I had to leave the ration. I was like, I need that more than anything right now, but I can't have it. The game just won't let me have this ration, and I'm like, Jesus. And I was being so sensitive too. I was just tapping that button just a little bit, and then he just like,
yeah, that's what I would call not accurate controls.
And I tried to crawl, and that was even worse. I was on the ground, and I was like just going, and then just like splashed in. I'm like, fuck this, dude. I'm leaving it. I don't need it. I'm just gonna walk past it. But yeah, you would go to the foundry, stay in there until the key card heated up, and then like quickly run your way back through the freezer, and then like go down the elevator. And I thought that part was really cool. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, I need to heat it up. So I thought maybe my body heat would get it. And then I thought about it, and I was like, no, I'm going to go to the freezer area and see if like that cools it off. Because I did not remember this part, at least 100%. I guessed what I needed to do pretty easily, so I might have actually known deep within the confines of my mind. But
you had a better time the first time you played. I saw your memory card.
Yeah, it wasn't hard. It was like, what, an 8-hour game?
I got this done at 13, just fine.
Yeah.
Now we're like, oh, I had to restart it like 1,200 times.
Yeah, we suck. We've regressed.
That's why I'm saying, like, I think we've been spoiled by good controls. and this game's controls were probably fine for the time.
Yeah.
Kind of like Bounty Hunters, I would say. It's just, it has not aged. I'm sorry, Bounty Hunters were probably lower mediocre at the time, and now they're terrible.
They were terrible to begin with.
Okay, whatever. Can you just not let me make a point?
No.
Okay. Caleb craps on a point once again.
Yep. Fuck you. Fuck you all.
Just this game's control scheme just did not age well at all. Just drove me nuts. What are you looking for?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
He's looking for the fucking glitch thing. No! Fucking glitch!
I will say the controls are better than Bounty Hunters.
Well, they are. I would agree.
Not the shooting controls, but the movement controls. Actually, I don't know if they are, but it doesn't have the platforming, so you don't notice it as much, maybe. Yeah. Oof. I have here Sick Tower.
The tower where you run up.
The tower where you got to run up to the helicopter.
Oh, I didn't die at all.
And it is just that was the other thing that connected with FF7, because there was just a giant FU tower in one part of the game.
You just keep running.
And there's so many dudes coming after you. In this game, of course, you're weak as hell, and you don't have that many bullets. So, like, the idea of, like, 1 million dudes coming after you is a nightmare. And for me, it was, in fact, a nightmare. So, Sick Tower has been noted, and torture BS.
Oh,
There's
man.
a part in the game where you get captured, and a dude tortures you, and if you give in to his torture, I don't know what happens. I guess the game just keeps going. But then you can not give in to his torture, and you got to do this button mashing thing, and you have to do it like 3 times, and it gets harder to do every time. You got to do even more button mashing before your life goes down. And this is the only part of the game where if you die, you have to restart from the menu, and your save, you have to start from your save. Now, I was doing this sniper wolf fight that I was already whining about 1 million times, okay? So maybe a lot of my deaths weren't counted, by the way, Schweiss, so you got to think about that. I did this 1 million times. I had not saved for hours. I got to this guy tortures me, and I get this close to winning the stupid minigame thing, and I don't win it because my thumb is just not a good button masher thing, okay? I haven't been working on my clit skills, right? With the thumb. I don't know why you would use your thumb, but like even none of my fingers are that fast. They're not like, that's about as fast as I can mash, which isn't that fast for this game. This game is like, you need like you need a drum roll. Like you need to go like that. I'm sorry, you need to go like this. And I can only do this.
Yeah, Abrac brings up a good point. If you give in, Meryl dies in the game. That's what happens.
Oh, okay, wow. So I had to restart a huge section of the game, and it drove me nuts.
You can get out of there with the ketchup packet. If you like break it while he's not looking and you're laying there, he'll come in and like you can beat him up. That's what I did the first time I played the game. I fucked it up this time though. I broke it and he like saw me and he's like, "What are you doing with that ketchup?" The guard in the room.
No, this is before
You died
that.
the very first time?
Yes.
Oh.
The third time on the very first time, because he does the torture thing 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
And the third time is like a really long one. I think it was Abrac. Thank you, whoever you were. I believe it was Abrac. Told me, use a pencil. And you just take a pencil and you put it over the X button, or it was probably the O button in Metal Gear Solid. And you just go back and forth quickly. And it takes a lot less energy to press that button down over and over again. And thank goodness I got the happy ending, and I got past that part the second time around.
You got the happy ending, huh?
And
Probably.
I didn't know tortures came with that.
I then shoved the pencil up my ass. And had
this one for fun?
Had some good times. But yeah, dude,
come in anyway?
I cannot button mash like that. I just can't. I'm no good at it. Never had to button mash that hard in like FF13 2 or anything, where the other button mashing games that like mattered. I've never had a button mash.
You
that
should do
hard.
God of War.
That
on
was sick.
God mode.
That was
That's some
sick.
sick shit.
Yeah, you have to button mash like crazy in that game.
Don't worry, I now know the pencil trick.
There was one time where I was laughing hysterically because I just could not press it fast enough. I was like, this is impossible. I like start pushing my blades down. It's like, and then I lose.
There's
I
only
die.
there's only 2 games that I think I can't ever do the button mashing for, and that's like God of War on the harder difficulties, and then the other one is some fucking random Naruto fighting game. There's like one part where you have to button mash, and it is fucking impossible.
I've given you the pencil trick. Okay.
You should try Resident Evil 5 when that face grabber thing goes on to
So what are you
Jill.
doing with the
Jesus
pencil?
fucking Christ. It's like,
Hey,
And
grab
then-
me a controller.
Rubbing the
Schweiss.
pencil back and forth across the controller.
You're rubbing it again across the button itself. So
not a clit thing to do,
Okay.
by the way. Don't go crazy.
don't do this. So here's the controller laying flat. You take the pencil just over the button, and you just go across. And you can do that a lot faster than you can press it down.
I made it through all of those fights, though, or the things. It gets pretty, it starts to drain.
Oh, I see. You're using your jerk-off muscles to do that.
Yeah, it's a little easier with the jerk off than the pointer. Than the
Joe's
pointy
jerk
button.
off muscles are
the
stronger than
thumb.
any other part of his muscles.
My thumb is just not that. Look, I'm going full speed right now.
Are you kidding me?
Let me show you. Joe. This is what I do when I need a button mash through a scene. I just go.
I can't do that.
Or here, look
I've
at this.
tried doing that.
Look at this. Look at it.
I just got to use the
Look
controller
at this
back and
on
forth
the
thing.
control on the podcast.
I have to go that way, or I put it down.
We're all.
I don't know how you can do that. This is why I can't be a good drummer either, dude. I can't do a drum roll because I got retard hands. That's what I got, man. It's like bad. I'm like, and they eventually just become this.
Shows how you finger your.
Yeah, there have been times in God of War where I've had to put the controller down and just go
That's you get so slow.
as fast as I can.
You got to move your arm.
I know the faster, like the longer it goes, like it
That's
sucks.
why you have to use the arm motion, the arm twitch.
There was a
because it gets
time
you
where
going.
I would also, I would
gonna
do
be
that.
put
I would
into a
have it like
remix.
loosely in my hand. I would have the controller loosely in my
Feel the
hand, and
burn.
I would like smack it, and like basically
work out
use
those
the
texting
controller's
muscles.
weight to press the button. at
Hold on,
one point in
I
time.
gotta try this. I know this is horrible radio. Like that?
Yeah, kind of like that. Like I would just like shake it,
shake
just
it.
fucking.
That's all I got. guys.
Gotta like beat it off faster on that one side, like
I
Cam
don't
Cam.
beat off very fast.
Here. No.
It's a romantic experience.
Well, that's going into remix.
If you're not bleeding at the end, you didn't really do it.
They can't hear me. I'm sure they don't hear me that well through this. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, F that part. Okay? You gotta be the impossible human with the incredibly fast fingers in order to beat this game in that section. Okay, so that's all I got in gameplay. Schweiss, what did you think of the gameplay?
I thought it was honestly, it's probably like you said, the most frustrating and most outdated part of this game. I don't dislike it as much as you do, but I do acknowledge that it does have problems, and some of the difficulty of the game stems from the control scheme itself. So I can't, in good conscience, give it a 10 out of 10. Like, it's just impossible for me. I think that it is a fun game, and it is still a playable game, but it is a difficult game to begin with. And the controls add another level of difficulty that should not be.
But it's kind of a
present.
genius. Here's the positive thing, because I don't like to say a bunch of negative stuff before I give it a good score. The positive thing with the game is that it's genius. Having
that
played
shit,
other
man.
games, maybe not as many as other people, but there's no other game that I know of quite like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
It's just really ingenious. Everything is like a new situation, a new kind of puzzle to do that doesn't like repeat any sort of thing that you've done before, usually. And you got to use your brains to figure out some of the situations. So I think it's a really cool game in that respect. Very cool. Each
Yeah.
boss is very unique, and the sneaking situations are unique. And
Yeah.
you just
And the cardboard
build
box
on it.
is awesome.
I never used it. I never saw it. So
I did.
oh, you
It was
did?
pretty sweet. I found two
Sweet.
of them, actually. There's a part in the game where you know that truck that you find kind of early on, and there's like just a truck hanging out in the middle of this area?
Nope.
It was the first area where right before you go into the vent and you talk to your master, there's like that truck you can jump up in the back of and like go hide.
Well,
It's
obviously I
covered.
didn't do that.
You can get in, jump up in there and hide, and you can like turn on the box, and they will like drive you away in one of the parts.
Wow.
Yeah, and like different boxes take you to different places apparently. So I'm like, that's fucking sweet.
Different boxes take you to different places.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you can skip ahead. But Abrak told me about it, and I remembered it from before, and then it fucked me and brought me back to the very beginning area. So that sucked. But
sorry, go ahead on what you thought of gameplay.
Yeah, I think overall it's still a good game, but gameplay is probably the rougher part of the game. It's not as fine tuned as the rest of the series. The controls are rough, and some of the areas like that ration that I couldn't get, like it's just a cock tease, like, and that's totally on gameplay. That's a bullshit right there. And I just couldn't get it. There was just no other way around it. It just wasn't for me. And it's not the end of the world, but I do think the rest of the series has much better gameplay and way more solid controls. So I would probably give gameplay. I'm going to give gameplay a 7.
You're going to give it a 7?
Yeah.
I'm giving it an 8.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, I'm giving it an 8. I'm taking. Here's the thing: how ingenious the game is in its in everything but the controls. It's so good that it makes up for how bad the controls have at least aged.
Wow. Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought you were going to give it way worse than
I thought you were going to give it a 10. So
what? Fuck that.
Yeah, the biggest problem was with the controls. The axis on like how he moves around and sees things. It just is not intuitive at all.
Yeah.
And it's really clunky. And I do know it gets way better.
Oh yes, Metal Gear Solid 2 is so much smoother.
So I'm not gonna worry about playing the rest of the series because I have played the third one. Luckily, it does get better. It doesn't stay at this level.
Yeah. And 5 is supposed to be.
But the rest of it is
fun games
the rest
ever.
of it is so great. Just the rest of the problem solving as the player is just really fun.
Yeah.
Assuming you can actually do physically what you're supposed to.
Yes.
Okay, what's the next category?
Sound and music. So voice acting.
Voice acting,
soundtrack.
top notch.
Yeah.
Top notch voice acting. Characters are all extremely interesting. They're all played very well, and the performances are great. Unusual for a game that is not natively in English. This is a Japanese video game. Despite it being about Americans, this is a Japanese video game brought over to the States and well translated and beautifully acted, honestly. And that's rare for a late 90s game.
Yeah.
It's rare for a Japanese game.
It's rare for a game now.
It's rare for a game, period.
How good the caliber of translation and voice acting is.
Yeah, like the jokes work in English. Like
Yes.
all of it works, and that's weird. Normally, like the
Japanese jokes don't translate.
Yeah, like the fucking train thing in 7. Ain't no one getting off of this train or some shit. Like that doesn't work.
Ain't no one getting
I don't know
off
if
of
that's
this train.
I don't know if that's a joke.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't understand what's happening right now. Ain't nobody getting off of this train. I'm like, what the fuck are you-
nowhere.
Yeah. Got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
Fuck you, people.
I've heard that exact fucking quote for like every fucking time we get on Destiny. Every fucking time. Fucking somebody has to fucking say it.
You ain't going nowhere.
Fuck you, people.
Yeah, I think the voice acting is excellent. There's only one part that it made me laugh my ass off. Other than the deep throat thing, which of course is hilarious.
Just
They
call
call
me
me
deep throat.
deep throat. I laugh at that every time I hear it, and it's very immature. But with the one thing, there's one part in the game where Otacon, like, he just like goes snake. Like, do you remember that? Oh my god, dude! I died once, and then I had to do this part again, and like, there's a thing where he's like snake. He should be like, hey snake, but he's like snake. And it's just really high. He's like snake. You need to go through here and do this one thing. And I'm on the stream, I just kept doing it. I was just like, snake! What the fuck was that? It is crazy. It is just like one of the lines, one of the fucking calls that he makes with it. He just starts it out with like, it's super high pitched snake. I'm like, why would they put that there? Like, he says snake normally so many other times, but like, they're like, no, we got to use this one. We got to use the one where it sounds like he He like just stubbed his toe right as he called you.
No, where he just sat on a dildo and
Yeah.
called you.
Snake.
Solid snake.
Yeah. What happened? Nothing. It's okay. But other than that, yeah, it's great. And in the chat, I think it was Jake. It might have been Jake or Abrac. One of them was saying that this is David Hayter's worst performance of Snake in the series, and that might be true. But even then, I don't have a single problem with.
No, I don't have a problem with it.
The voice acting. I think that's great. I think the music in this game is fucking phenomenal. Like the scene where he's like cradling Wolf as she dies. Like that was like a beautiful fucking scene in this game where he's telling her like wolves are loyal animals.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
well acted. And
it was like perfect. And I was like, this shouldn't be in a game.
but
from
also
the
over the
PS1
top
era.
and 007-esque. But
It is kind of over the top and like weirdly romantic, even though they kind of hate each other. But she does get like sexual with her prey, and it's weird. But it's I thought that was a
going
perfection.
all Weinstein on his prey.
Dominatrix.
Yeah, hey, only one man in this podcast has praised him for his movie stuff.
That's true. Not going to stop praising for the movie stuff. As a person,
Careful.
never
Not
going to
good.
stop
Some
praising
can't
him,
distinguish.
Joe.
Yeah.
Some can't distinguish. That pisses me off. Like, I can separate the art from the artist. It's okay.
Yeah,
I can do that.
you
I
should be
listen to
able
Michael
to.
Jackson music, despite the fact that he probably diddled kids. And
Diddled.
I will still... I will still...
That's a fun word, diddle.
I will still listen to
Oh, I
the
bet it
comedy of what's his
Bill
face?
Cosby.
Bill Cosby. I will still listen to this comedy because it
Yeah.
is still funny.
Yeah, it's
Just saying.
you do need to separate the two, but yeah, in this game, I think the music is excellent.
I can watch a Roman Polanski movie. He's a rapist, child rapist. So
I don't think I've ever seen any of his movies. I don't know for sure though.
Rosemary's Baby,
Oh, never mind. It's a great movie, actually.
Pianist, also a great movie.
But,
He's made a lot of good movies. He's a rapist,
Yeah, terrible human being.
terrible human being.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, again, though, the music, even the song at the very end of the game didn't bother me, and it didn't feel out of place. And, like, Metal Gear Solid is one of the few games that can do that. Like, the Snake Eater song at the end of 3 is, like, fucking awesome. It is the most 007 moment of that fucking game, though. It is a 007 song. Like, at the end, I was like, Jesus Christ. It's like I just watched James Bond. Like, 'cause it's like breaks out in this cheesy...
I honestly thought that song was terrible. But
What? I thought it was awesome.
Well, the rest of the game takes itself really seriously.
That's true. 3 is a very
And
serious
so,
game. Other than the parts where it's a joke, but
yeah.
those are just really funny.
So, I don't know about that.
It's so weird though, like how well everything carries over, like from Japan. Like it shouldn't work because it never does.
Whoever does the translation for this should do the Final Fantasy translation.
Yeah, they should.
They're really good at it. Music. The music in this game is also a 90s action movie score with the inclusion of drum rolls every few seconds in the really intense parts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing because it's not at all. What I love about the soundtrack is it has these little memorable cues that it uses throughout the game that I just found a lot of fun. I never found the music annoying. The dun 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 is of course now just like permeates.
Yeah, it's like it's iconic as
It's
hell.
iconic. So I loved the music of the game. There were a lot of really good music moments. Even the theme song at the end, which I didn't watch at the end. I had to watch it on YouTube later because I unplugged my stuff and it screwed up right at the right after the ending cutscene and went into the credits. I lost sound.
Oh wow.
But I had to look up that song later. It's a very pretty song in another language, and I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually I hate. There's a long history of game themes with vocals on it that are terrible from Japan. Usually they're J-pop scores, and someone told me like, "Oh, dude, you gotta listen to this song. It's great." Like in the chat, and I was like, "Oh man, is it another J-pop song that I have to tear apart later?" Luckily, it's not. It's Very pretty song. So I love the music as well. I'm giving sound and music 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I am too. Everything sounds great in this game. The soundtrack is great, and it's great when it needs to be great. It's not just great randomly, like some games tend to be, or try to be, like that fucking Armored Core for Answer, when I'm like, oh, this is kind of a cool theme with the piano thing, and then like
now loop it.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. Well, you just restarted the theme after 4 seconds. You found a piano theme, and you fucking looped it 1,000 times.
Now it's not cool anymore.
This game doesn't. No, it wasn't cool almost immediately after I thought perhaps it might have been cool. But this game is excellent in its execution of the soundtrack. And that's one thing that, as much as it hurts me, sometimes Final Fantasy and Nobuo Uematsu, he is a great artist, obviously, and he does create some of the greatest pieces. But I feel like sometimes perhaps the music doesn't lend itself to the game at that particular moment. And I feel like with Metal Gear Solid, that does not happen at all. I think it is always perfectly executed, and it doesn't take away from the scene. It merely adds to what you're seeing before you, rather than making it like so blaringly big that you can only hear the music kind of thing. And that only happens a couple times with Naboo. Usually he's great at it, and it's very iconic.
And there's an auction theme.
Yeah, and then there's an auction theme that makes you want to blow your fucking brains out. Worst theme in 6, easily. That and the fucking Coliseum. Those are the only two songs in that entire soundtrack that I hate with a passion. You have to go in there, too. You have to. Yeah, great soundtrack, though. I love it.
Design, the look of the game. This was a top-notch game. I remember it being called like the best-looking game on the PS1, that and FF8. Now, I think this, as far as character models and area model detail is concerned, it must have pushed the PlayStation as far as it could go.
Yeah.
And it plays incredibly well considering that.
Yeah. I didn't have any frame drop or anything. Nothing technical went wrong at all.
And for a PlayStation 1 game, I think it looks fantastic. And the cutscenes are, of course, great. They don't use the CG cutscenes that games around this time with the high graphic capabilities often use, just to be like, ooh, this extra little cutscene moment.
Yeah.
It uses in-game graphics.
Yeah, and that was part of their idea of creating, because Kojima wanted to create a movie in a video game, basically. He wanted it to be one experience. So he didn't want to have the rewarding cutscene that we get and know and love from Final Fantasy, where we get to sit back and relax. He wanted it to be one fluid thing, and I think they achieved that.
They achieved that exactly perfectly well. It's a really good looking game. I will say that going through a converter that then went into an HDMI thing made my image really, really dark. And I believe I have looked at it on the PlayStation Store, and it is not. You can see things just fine.
Yeah.
So if you're going to play the game now, I know that it does look better uncompressed in the PlayStation Store than it does going through 6 different filters. So I know that this game, for a PlayStation game, it doesn't hold up graphically now.
Obviously.
None of them do. But for a PlayStation game, it looks great. It's the best looking PlayStation game in-game that I've ever seen. Now, the cutscenes, Final Fantasy does them better, but, well, that's what Kojima wanted. So
yeah, and Final Fantasy takes up a lot more space with the discs.
That's true.
They're
doing full video sequences, I guess.
Yeah, I think that was probably part of it.
It must be. So I'm giving the look of the game, it's also just a cool looking game. The bad guys look really cool and unique, and the area is really interesting.
And they're a bunch of different areas.
Lots of variety, and all in all, this kind of dingy sort of feel to it.
Yeah.
This Alaskan feel, I guess.
Yeah, and he's a musher. Don't ever forget it.
So I dug the look of the game. I'm giving the look of the game, even just the design of Snake himself, or Liquid Snake. They're iconic.
Yeah, they are. They look very unique, and even the little animations for when they're doing their little calls together, the little faces they make, and some of the interactions in there are way cool. There's one where if you keep messaging Mei Ling, the chick who you save with, if you message with her over and over and over and over again, she'll like eventually just like start doing dots. She won't talk to you. And then there's one where she just like sticks her tongue out at you and then hangs up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super funny, and like it's just cool little things that they put in there.
I wonder exactly how many conversations you can have in that thing. Like, when do you get to the repeat conversation?
Yeah, I don't know. There were a few times that I would, but if you call during different times in the game, you do get different stuff. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, design 10 out of 10 for the PlayStation.
Yeah, I agree. Everything has its place. I mean, obviously the guards for the most part are kind of rinse and repeat, but the level designs are very intuitive. The game utilizes everything that you have in your arsenal with the design. I mean, there's a part where the game's like, oh, hey, use the C4 to blow holes in the wall. And he's like, well, where am I supposed to blow the hole? And they're like, oh, they just barely replaced the wall, so they haven't painted over it yet. So you
find the part in the wall that looks tampered with.
Yeah, that doesn't look painted.
And it's not super obvious. But
no,
it
isn't. And I forgot which
corner
corner
it out,
it was
right?
for a little while. And you go look, and you're like, oh, okay, there's this huge splotch where it's gray. And so you plant the C4 on it, and you blow a hole in it.
It looks good. Now, it's not background like with the Final Fantasy games. They do
pre-rendered,
pretty high quality pre-rendered. This isn't pre-rendered.
No, this is all in.
These are in-game graphics. These are the best in-game graphics I've ever seen on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
If I play the Harry Potter game, I remember is one. It's really blocky, crappy looking textures.
Like shit, yes.
And it's just this game is the opposite of that. This is primo.
The sick part is that the sick part about this game is that I played Siphon Filter recently, and that came out in 2000. And this game looks way better.
Yeah.
It came out a year before before Siphon Filter.
This game pretty much looks better than Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
On the PS2.
It's close.
It's close.
Caleb, what did you think about the game? You played it along with us. What scores are you going to give it? We totally forgot to ask you.
Oh,
my scores?
I forgot you did play it along with us. Sorry. I would have acknowledged you more.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't really care.
Said you just ate your fucking jelly beans.
Dude, I fucking love jelly beans. We had to hear
the...
And then
I fucking love... Dude, the jelly beans are the greatest bean of all time. All right?
The greatest beans? What about Boston baked beans?
Oh, those are really good, dude.
They're better than
I love Boston baked beans.
Although, I do
They're the best movie theater candy.
There's not
giant pickle.
nasty flavors of Boston baked beans. They all taste
treats.
great.
It's all candied peanut. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's great.
That is true,
great.
no matter what variety
the pride
you
of
get.
Boston.
Pride of Boston. Their claim to fame.
Yeah.
Last time I went to Boston, there were a lot of Boston baked beans.
And there were also a lot of Mark Wahlbergs.
That's the other pride of Boston.
How's it going?
Okay.
So, Caleb.
For story, I'd probably give it an 8. Like the recessive stuff and that
the pseudoscience.
Yeah, the pseudoscience bugged me. I didn't care for the love story that happened. The Otacon guy was into Sniper Wolf and.
Oh, yeah, that one was dumb. Yeah.
That one was kind of dumb too, and I was like,
don't hurt her. Fuck
Yeah.
that. I'm like, I'm killing this bitch.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about that. And
I don't
then,
care what you say.
but other than that, I enjoyed the story. It was pretty good. Gameplay, I had some problems with the controls. Mostly what you guys were talking about. I did find that same ration, and I could not get to it at all.
Oh, I know.
I tried many things, and they did not work. For gameplay, I'd give it a 7 as well.
Did you try turning it on and off again?
I did.
Yeah, did you blow on the? Did you blow on the controller port?
I did. Yeah, I
the PS3 controller port.
I even blew in the audio jack just to see if that would work. I don't.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You truly never know.
What technology? It's not like it gives you a blueprint or anything to tell you how to fix it. So
Exactly.
Sometimes
it's just us.
Sometimes it's fucking just magic.
Magic at the fingertips of Joe.
Yeah, for sound and music, I'd also give that one a 10. The voice acting was great. I enjoyed the little noises of that dwee whenever they found you and shit like that.
Oh, I did not enjoy that noise.
I enjoy that.
That noise was panic attack noise.
I did not get discovered often enough for it to be panic. But
it's a new restart.
It's a fun little noise. And then design would also be a 10 for me. I liked a lot of the shit in there.
It's a good looking game for the time.
It is a really good looking game for PS1.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like a late PS1 game. I mean, 99 is near the end of the run, but they had games into like 01 and shit. But I can't think of anything that looks better.
Okay. Replayability.
We'll just start, Craig.
We'll just start with you, Craig. Sorry for not acknowledging you this entire time.
It's fine. Replayability, I'd probably give it an 8. I mean, there's a lot of value in the game where like there's just unique shit that you'd want to like go over again. Like the each boss battle was really unique feeling. Mm-hmm. So that's one
you'd like
thing.
to do it again and just be like, how fast can I beat this thing now that I know all the tricks?
Yeah, because it took me a long time that it should not have taken me to beat this game.
12 hours, something, right?
Yeah, I beat it like 20 minutes later than you, and I was at 13, just over 13.
Yeah, and I would like to have it be a normal game length. But
that is a normal game length.
It is actually. Yeah. What I loved was Joe.
You could probably beat it in 2 hours, but
what I love is just seeing Joe save his save file right next to it. Oh,
hey, thanks for the follow.
Yeah, thanks, man. Oh, I got my costume quest thing going on. Forgot about that. Thank you. One of the things that I loved seeing on Joe's stream was every time he saved, I would have my like 8-hour final save. And he's like 9, 10, 11 hours. Just fucking like, fuck you, man. How'd you do this? I don't know. That's the answer. I don't know how I did it. I have gotten worse over time.
Yeah, I learned a lot of things to do from just watching Schweiss die in his streams, so that was nice.
Fuck you, man.
I'd like to be able to do it somewhat faster, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I learned a lot from all my deaths, too.
Yeah.
Said I'm really bad at that
Your
game.
100-something deaths that Abrek counted.
Yep.
Here's what it is for me. Replayability. I honestly was like, I need to start a Metal Gear Solid podcast.
Yeah.
Or just a Metal Gear podcast. Play every single Metal Gear game. And I was really into that idea for when I was playing the game. And that would require me playing the game again. Now.
And you're not into that idea anymore?
I'm not going to start that podcast until I finish Final Fantasy.
Well, I think we can live that podcast through Nude Clan.
Yeah. I'd be down for it.
We could. So I'm kind of 50-50 on whether or not I'm going to replay this game. It would be kind of fun to see if I can improve my time, but the game's not really going to change that much. So I don't think there's that much replayable value, except that the game is just really good. And
the game is really
good. And in a
good.
few years, you'd be like, oh, let me try that game again.
Well, a lot of the stuff that
and
the
get a
game
worse
is
time.
praised for that is something that I really enjoy the Batman games for, the Arkham series, is that they really went with the stealth missions and they really went with the unique boss fights.
Instead of being the worst part of the game, they're the best part.
Yeah, and I really love that, and I've replayed those games many times, and that's one thing that I was surprised about with this game is that it had a similar feel, and that's what it like made the best parts of the game, is both the stealth and like the boss fights.
Yep.
And that is one reason that I will replay it.
I'm giving myself a 70% chance of replaying this game again.
So a 7.
A 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. I would love to go through at least the Metal Gear Solid series on this show.
Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 will be very hard for you. I can already tell from being like halfway through Metal Gear.
Well, it just doesn't look as interesting.
Are there trophies?
No.
Oh, okay. Damn. All right.
So not worth it.
No. Well, Jake beat Metal Gear Solid 4, and I think he has like 20% of the trophies, so I don't know if it'd be worth it anyway.
Wow.
Because they're brutal.
There's a lot more secret stuff in the other games, I assume.
Yeah, and they're difficulty-related stuff, and like no deaths, no kills. Like, it's balls to the wall with some of that shit. And
the third one was easy, but I think I did die once.
You can kill a lot of people on accident too. If you shoot them and they like land in water, they will drown.
That's a trophy like in the Deus Ex games where you have to like go through and not kill a single person.
These games,
what about night sex?
These games are.
That's
I
the
would
12
say
millionth time I've said this on the show. Sorry,
I would say that these games are better than Deus Ex.
Have you played that first one?
I played Machina.
Well, yeah, Machina's still pretty good though.
Have you played what?
It's,
Not Machina, Jesus Christ.
Human Revolution.
Human Revolution. I
Yeah.
keep saying that because that's the
Human
phrase.
Revolution is awesome.
I think Metal Gear Solid.
It's not quite as interesting as Metal Gear.
I think Metal Gear Solid 2
But-
and 3 are both better than that game.
Yeah, you're pondering
pretty
about
awesome.
dominant and recessive
boss-
genes.
I
The
know. I was
boss-
going to say, what's
Boss fights are
what's
definitely
modifying
better
your
in
body
Metal
with
Gear, though.
electronics
Oh, yeah.
so you can just modify it with dominant recessive genes?
There is a really cool story going on that's like backdrop sort of story that they explore a lot in this game that we didn't really talk about. And it gets kind of in depth, and it's pseudoscience-y, especially with that crap. But like a lot of cool and interesting characters in this game.
Okay.
Schweiss, what do you give replayability?
I'm going to give replayability a...
Are you going to play it again?
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Nice.
I know I'm going to play it again. I know I want to play it again. I don't want to play it on hard ever, I don't think. But I guess now that I know the game, I might be able to do it. But I've thought about putting Metal Gear Solid in my yearly rotation
Okay.
basically since I played the series the
Wow.
first time. And I think it's...
You still haven't played 5, right?
No, I never touched 5.
right. Okay.
I didn't beat 4. So really, I've just played 1, 2, and 3.
3, yeah.
And I was going to order some of the other ones on PlayStation, but I got a little hosed by the Joe, so I don't have the
Sorry.
money I once did.
I'll just buy you the thing.
All right, that works. But so there are a few that I do need to play still, but I love this game. I think it's a lot of fun, and for all of its gameplay flaws, it is still a very solid experience through and through.
A solid Snake
So
experience.
solid.
A snake-like
Metal
solidity
Gear
to it.
solid.
Yeah, it has
Solidity.
a snake-like solidity in its metal that I just find refreshing.
Craig, is this the first time you played Metal Gear?
It is, yeah.
Is this the first one you've ever beaten?
Yes.
Oh man,
What?
I-
Okay, so I played 3 before this because I heard
I'm
from
playing
Dylan
3.
that chronologically 3 was first.
I'm
It
playing
is.
3 now, but I had attempted this one earlier,
It's hard.
and I hadn't even gotten past the first level or the first part where like you have to
get
wait
to
for the elevator.
yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? It's not coming. And then I had to like sit there and be like, wait, just like fucking wait, because like I had gotten past the guys, like snuck past him. I didn't know that you're just fucking supposed to take the dudes out and then wait for the fucking
Yeah.
elevator. I was like,
I didn't take any dudes out.
yeah, there's the 2
Did I
dudes
take
that are down
dudes
there.
out?
I have to, you have to take them out, and
I
then
killed
it's like
him. I
wait
killed
for the
everybody
elevator.
I could though. So
I think the elevator just comes down at a certain point. And you just walk in.
if you kill him, it comes out immediately though.
Yeah,
At the very least.
I didn't kill those guys.
the first time I tried it, and then I like stopped trying to do it for forever. I sat there and waited
Guys, I snuck past him and got in
next
the
to the
elevator.
elevator, and the elevator didn't come. I waited forever because it was like
That's
just
weird.
just wait for the elevator. And then I was like, Schweiss, what the hell am I supposed to do? And he's like, dude, just wait for the elevator. I'm like, I've been waiting for the elevator. What the fuck? So then I just quit the game, and then this time I tried it, and then I just took out the dudes, and then it was like, hey, the elevator's coming.
Yeah. So final thoughts for me. I would say this is definitely a game that you should play, and I would easily put it in the top 3 PlayStation 1 games that I've ever played. Quite possibly number 1. I don't know if I want to make a definite list necessarily.
I think as far as gameplay is concerned, it's the most interesting.
yeah, it's the most.
It's definitely interesting with certain mechanics like smoking the cigarette for the laser
Yeah, it's
shit.
crazy.
Like the stuff that it allows you to be able to do is insane.
Yeah, it's stuff that you shouldn't be able to do in a PS1 game. Like you just shouldn't.
Yeah, and like,
that's-
it's stuff that I've never seen outside of it too.
And that's something that I don't normally feel when I play most games. I don't feel like, how the fuck did they do that? Like this game made me question, like, how did they do this?
it's like how is every game not?
How is he
doing
so
this?
creative?
Yeah, how is this
Yeah.
so innovative? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And all the Metal Gears, they just grow on top of that too. They're all
yeah.
really just
Yeah,
crazy.
you're gonna love
problem
too.
solving. It's fun.
Crazy shit in that.
Okay. I liked it a lot. Thought it was really great. It satisfied. I wish the controls were better, but other than that, it's just a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are my final thoughts. What are our scores?
All right, so for story, I gave it a 9. Joe gave it an 8. Craig gave it an 8. Gameplay, I gave it a 7. Joe an 8. Craig a 7. Sound and music, 10s across the board. Design, 10s across the board. Replayability, I gave it a 9. Joe gave it a 7, and Craig gave it an 8. That is a total of 45 out of 50 for me, 43 out of 50 for Joe, and 43 out of 50 for Craig, for an overall score of 88 out of 100, the official Nude Clan ranking. With Craig's in there, it probably would have been 86, 87-ish. And the Metacritic rating for Metal Gear Solid 1 is a 94 out of 100. So
Okay.
we kind of lowballed it a little bit, but I think a lot of that
it's
has
just
to do
some
with
of its
the,
aging.
the gameplay.
Yeah.
And honestly, 7's a little rough, but fuck it. That's the worst score I gave it, so you guys can suck my dick. You think I lowballed this game. It's a great fucking game.
Yep. It's a good game. All
Yeah.
right. What do we do after this?
We have nominations for our game based on
Are you
other
sure
media.
about that, Craig?
Yes,
We're technically
I am.
supposed to do that the week after this review, but we're just going to go ahead and move forward.
Yeah,
or
'cause
at least
Joe
we
fucked up
said
the
that,
last
right? Are we still cool with that? Or are we doing...
Yeah, next
Yeah.
week we're doing the movie. So this is technically last week, and now we're doing this week. So,
Okay,
yes.
so we're moving forward.
Basically
in
just
time.
switched it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that way we don't
So we
fuck
have,
up.
So we'll have 4 weeks to beat the game instead of 5.
Well, you should have 6 instead of 7.
Oh, is it 7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 6 instead of 7.
So basically this week we're doing the vote for what should have been last week, like we've said. Or no, they should
What-
be this week. No, it should be this week.
Should be
So
this
we're-
week.
Yeah, it should be. So we have the full
This
7
should have
weeks.
been your episode, Schweiss, and last
Yeah.
week should have been the review.
Okay, got it. We're good. We're
Yeah.
good. So game based on another medium. What do you guys want to throw out there for our
I
listeners?
am nominating South Park,
Man.
the new South Park game,
Fractured but whole.
Fractured But Whole, which I love the first South Park game, so I'm excited to play this one, and it just came out, and I'm ready. I'm ready to try it out.
All right. Craig?
I'm going to nominate Digimon Cyber Sleuth.
You beat that this year.
That was last year.
You're nominating that old of a game?
Yes, mostly because I'm pretty sure that South Park is going to win. That, or if somebody nominates like Shadow of War, it's going to be between those two.
Cameron?
I will nominate Middle Earth: Shadow of War.
Yep. See, it's going to be the war between those
That's
two.
because you like Shadow of Mordor, I'm assuming?
I quite enjoyed that game. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Vote for South Park, guys.
Shadow of War is what it's called? Yep. I will probably Redbox that if it wins. I don't want to spend $60. I am going to nominate the cult classic from the 2006-ish era, 50 Cent Bulletproof. And here's my plea.
That doesn't fucking work.
Here's
How are
my
we all going to play that?
They can't even like nominate that. It's fucking bullshit.
It's based on another medium.
How?
It's music. It's 50
Yeah.
It's not
Cent.
based on his
It's
music.
based off
It's
of 50
based on
Cent.
him.
Have you
It's based
heard
on
his music?
character.
It's very violent, Caleb, at times.
I say it fits. I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Fuck you, people.
All right, here's my reason
A
why.
game based on something that's not a game or itself.
Yeah, some other form of media.
Yeah.
Here's what my plea to the audience to choose 50 Cent and Bulletproof. South Park and Middle Earth are games that will probably be reviewed regardless.
Yeah. South Park will be reviewed in just a few weeks.
And whether or
true.
not we
They
all
vote
review
for
it as a group or a pair of us reviews it, it will most definitely be reviewed at some point. But 50 Cent Bulletproof, this is the only chance you got.
No, they have this chance and the next chance.
Because I'm not gonna fucking blow my votes on 50 Cent Bulletproof past this point.
Yeah, you are, dude. You fucking nominated Siphon Filter like 5 times. You're not gonna let this 50 Cent game
I let
go.
Siphon Filter go,
After 5 times.
and I beat it myself. I'll buy 50 Cent and beat it myself if it doesn't win.
Didn't you buy it already?
No, I didn't buy it.
What,
Oh, I thought
what
you did.
systems is that for?
PS2 and Xbox.
Okay, I'll have to get an Xbox version.
Yeah. So
If it even gets one freaking vote.
I'm honestly not. I don't even know if I'm going to vote for it. But my plea is that no one's going to vote for Digimon, and South Park and Middle Earth are both going to be played no matter what.
Well, I know
happens,
none
so.
of you want to play a Digimon game, so it has just as much of a chance as fucking 50 Cent.
I bet you 50 Cent beats it out
I don't know,
because of my
man.
one vote.
South Park, The Fractured Butthole, guys. Go and click on the Metal Gear Solid review episode on nudeclan.net. Cast your vote for South Park, The Fractured Butthole, or one of the other 3 games nominated.
Nudeclad.net or audibletrial.com/nudeclan.
Speaking of Audible,
Dude, you haven't fucking promoted that in forever.
audibletrial.com/.
Don't spoil that series.
A great place to get the
He's not gonna
Wheel
spoil it.
of Time books. Now, I have whined about the Wheel of Time ever since we started this show because
Yes,
I
you
was
have.
trying to get and finish this series that I had started reading in high school. And it has taken me years. And I have, as of 2 days ago, or 3 days ago maybe, I have finally finished the final book in one of the biggest series of all time, both in sales and in page length, or excuse me, page number, not page length.
Yeah, they average like
There's some big
750
books, man.
pages,
They're
and there's
not a
14
map-sized
of them.
book.
So
Yes. So I will say though, I did say that this was going to be my last epic fantasy. And because I loved it so much, the last 3 books were so good, it made up for the 4 books before it that were not so good. The last 3 books were so darn good, I actually picked up Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn on Audible.
nice.
And I started listening to Brandon Sanderson's writing podcast as well. Of course, I'm writing screenplays in the morning before I go to work every day. And so that's actually kind of like good to be able to hear. I mean, he's mostly talking about genre fiction, but it is interesting like hear his thoughts on writing, and then also his Robert Jordan books were fantastic. I do totally recommend. I'm gonna warn you though. There's some caveats to this.
There is lulls.
I recommend Wheel of Time. It is a fantastic story and has really great characters, and it's an amazing world, and it ends wonderfully. I will say the warning is that there are problems with this series. None of the problems are like major problems like, oh, this is stupid or blah, 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 those kind of things. The series has some issues with slowing down in the middle of books. So often the middle of the book is where you're going to stop reading. And it has the same problem as a series, in fact, because the beginning books, real good, real fast pace. Middle books are a real slog, and then it peaks back up at the end. In fact, it does that for almost every book, with the exception of one book where the entire thing's a slog. And that one is book 10, I think. It's either book 10 or 9. One of those has no plot, and it's really tough. And so, but other than that, this series was amazing.
Who was your favorite character?
Rand or Matt? Matt was a lot of fun.
Matt was my favorite character because whenever you're with Rand, you have fun stuff and boring stuff
whenever
together.
you're with Rand,
but usually when you're with
the
Matt,
plot is moving forward.
Right, the plot. Rand moves the plot forward. But
So
when
in
you're
the
with,
middle books, I was like, please get back to Rand.
But whenever you're with Matt, you just get some really fun fantasy stuff happening. Whenever you're with Matt, so I really like that.
Yeah. So
and he likes to spend time with girls, a lot of girls.
Perrin
dug
had some
the
cool
series.
parts, but he also had some really, really, really dull parts.
Yeah.
I loved it, and it ended extremely well with the last. Oh, I guess 4 books. The last 4 books were really good. Brandon Sanderson was the savior of that series as well. He's just a really good writer.
Well, literally, because Jordan died.
He is such a good writer that he came in and wrote in someone else's series, and it felt like Robert Jordan, just like a faster paced one, faster paced version of Robert Jordan.
One thing I really like about
was
Brandon
great.
Sanderson's books is that each book that he writes fantasy-wise has its own unique magic system. It's all unique in of itself.
Yeah, the guy's a mega fucking nerd with that.
I know. It's just like you come into a book, you don't go, it's not like this magic that's just, this no real rules kind of base magic like Lord of the Rings or really fucking structured magic like you see in a different series. It's just each time you're in a new series, he has a new form of magic and what it does. And I really like that. So each book is refreshing.
So Wheel of Time kind of pushed me off of epic fantasy for a little while. I was really into Lord of the Rings in high school.
It's not really a series, though. It's
And
one-
the thing is, I was usually reading like thriller sci-fi books, mostly Michael Crichton type stuff. So that's the kind of the books I was into. Then Lord of the Rings was like something else. It was this incredible thing. And I loved Harry Potter, which is also, it's a little different, but it's still an epic fantasy.
Definitely fantasy, yeah.
It's just a modern epic
More
fantasy.
adolescent for most of it.
And I only ever I like the ending books more than I like the beginning
I do
books.
too,
So,
yeah.
It's like,
Except for 4.
If I'm going through the Harry Potter series again, it's to get to the last few books.
Well, it'll only take you about an hour, so you're fine.
That's true. That's true.
That's reading it yourself.
But as a kid, you think it's a lot.
You do.
Oh, it's 309 pages.
Yeah, I'm like, and then I read it in an afternoon.
That is the length of Sorcerer's Stone, by the way. 309. Next one, I believe, is like 241 or something like that. Anyway, Doug, Wheel of Time. And I know you two have read Wheel of Time.
Multiple times, yes.
Cameron as well, multiple times.
Multiple times.
Guys, Wheel of Time podcast.
I'd be. I already
Jesus
give you the
Christ.
format. I already gave you the format that I wanted to do.
What's the format?
Well, it involves with getting Brandon Sanderson's okay with it, having one long.
It's gonna be really hard to do.
You probably
I know,
have to get,
that's fine.
You'd have to get Harriet's.
And I want one long interview with Brandon Sanderson.
We'll send Craig to
where
better.
where we talk about different aspects of the book. So the first parts of the book would be him explaining it to us, like as a reader, how it affected him, and progressing into the books where he started writing it and how he brought
I say we do the series
his
of
opinion of the
podcasts,
series, and then we chop that interview up into bits.
and then the very last episode will be us trying to get a hold of Brandon Sanderson.
I know people that know him. So
Yeah.
I know someone that knows his wife. at the very least.
Or one of us could just enroll in BYU and get into one of his classes.
Caleb, you're the purest among us. You can go.
But but Brandon
that shitty
Sanderson
neck
is
beard.
Mormon, so we got to be like, we have to make it a clean. podcast.
Yeah, it'd be
think so?
a
You think
clean
he'd get-
clean thing. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he won't read the other Game of Thrones books because the content is too heavy. He read the first one. And that was it.
Oh, he's missing out. That third book. Best thing I've ever read.
But oh man,
Brandon.
dude, I loved it. I loved the Wheel of Time. I loved it, and I did not think this. I did not think that it was going to be a reread. I was like, this is it. I am done with epic fantasy, and I said that in the middle of book 11 on this show. I have repented, and I may in fact reread this series.
You got to read Game of Thrones first, though.
Game of Thrones doesn't end, and that guy is going to die before
It
that.
doesn't
thing
matter.
ends.
Schweiss, we're going to get the ending through the TV show, and we're all perfectly okay with that.
He already said he prefers the TV show story to the book story, so you have that also. It's probably just a lazy way of him saying, I'm fucking done writing this
Oh,
thing.
he's wrong. The books are better.
He wrote the fucking things, dude.
Doesn't matter. It's not his decision to make.
It is, though.
It's mine.
Timo, who has also read these things with us, he claims that the most boring book in Game of Thrones is more boring than the most boring book in Wheel of Time.
I don't know.
Cameron, do you have an opinion
Book
here?
4
Dance
of
with
Game of
Dragons
Thrones.
versus
Whoa, Dance with Dragons.
No.
or whatever the last one is.
The fourth one is
No,
the boring
like
The boring one.
no. Wheel of
It's
Time
not as
has
boring?
so much more boring
Okay,
books.
all right.
Yeah,
But it has more. I don't know. It honestly,
Okay, we're talking the most boring one in Wheel of Time versus the most boring one in Game
which
of
I can't even
Thrones.
remember the freaking title of it. It was so boring. It was one. It was like 9 or 10. It wasn't Winter's Heart.
Crossroads of Twilight.
I think it was Crossroads of Twilight. That one was brutally nothing happened. I don't even think one thing happened. People were just. I remember on the Wikipedia page it was like they're continuing to search for this person, and Rand talks about meeting this other person. Like that's the plot summary of the Wikipedia page. It's like it's still 1,100 pages long. But guys, the series is amazing. I'm just saying.
Just skip
It's
this
amazing.
book. Skip this book, and you're
You
good to
can't-
go.
I think you actually could skip that book.
Yeah.
I think you can just straight up skip it.
Just get some cliff notes for it, and then you're good.
Fael. He's looking for Fael in that book. I remember. He doesn't find her, by the way. He's just
that-
looking for her.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Totally recommend Wheel of Time. You guys recommended Mistborn. I was thinking about starting Way of Kings because the third book is coming out soon. And I was like, it'd be cool to go to that opening party because it's here in Provo.
Stormlight Archive.
The Stormlight Archive.
It is a great series. That
now I did
out.
joke. I was like, Brandon Sanderson's he's a little tubby, and
It's a great way to get him on the show.
he
by the
doesn't
way.
look he doesn't look that healthy. I would say he does talk about going to the gym a lot on his show. Which I'm like, are you really going to the gym a lot? Little tubby, and he says this is a book that's going to be a 10-book series, and they're going to come out every 2 to 3 years. I'm like, that's 20 to 30 year commitment there, man.
So he's
are you
trying
going to make it?
He's trying to make his own version of the Wheel of Time.
He
series.
makes it though. He makes his deadlines.
Because I think I'll make it. I'll be in my mid 50s.
On his website, he'll have.
And I'm not
he
as
has-
fat as he is.
He has a timeline of when he wants to finish his book and where he's at. So he has like a little progress bar.
Yeah,
you
he
can keep
takes that
track
shit
of.
seriously.
He does. He's very goal oriented. Very dedicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his writing,
Mm-hmm.
not his weight and his heart. I'm pretty sure. So that's my concern. I'm concerned with starting this series, and he's gonna die off like Robert Jordan right before the end.
I just laugh.
He'll just get somebody to replace
I
him,
just
and
laugh
it's fine.
Like,
because-
this is a long commitment, guys. This is a 10-book series. It's only on book 3, and it's supposed to take him 30 years.
I just laugh because I watched this this thing where they asked George R.R. Martin because people are concerned with his health and that he's going to die before he finishes the series, and he's like, I don't have a response to that. He's like, fuck those people. it was really funny. I was like, they're kind of frightened with that shit. It's
From-
happened
I
before.
have all the ideas
In an
for
turn of
podcasts.
events, he wrote himself out of his own story.
Fuck you people.
See, that's why he's got 2 more books, and man, that guy looks rough.
Yeah.
That guy looks like he ain't gonna last very long.
What is it with these authors that just don't take care of themselves and die?
He also doesn't write. I swear, he's like.
How long did you say it took him to write that one book? 6 or 7 years?
For book 5?
Yeah.
It was 6 years.
Are we past that by now with this one? Oh, it's
Oh, with
not
the
that.
show?
No, with the new book. Next book.
This will be book 6.
Yeah, but
and-
how long of a gap have we had right now?
6 years.
From book 5 to 6?
To now. There is no
So
book
it has
6.
been 12 years to put out 2 books.
If it comes out soon. Yes.
If it ever comes out.
It's going to be
Dude,
done.
that thing's not going to end. You're not going to get that ending to that
Not
book.
gonna get the end. It's gonna be
Here's
twice.
the
It's
thing.
it's just gonna double.
It's gonna be another 6 years, and
gonna
he'll die by the
miraculously live
5th
through
year
his
at
90s.
least.
Here's the thing, though. He says he has thousands of pages of manuscript. I am hoping what happens is that he releases book 6, and then 2 months later he releases book 7, and he fucking is done with it, and it's over. That's it.
Or what's going
That's
to
not gonna happen.
is that
He's gonna pull a Beyonce, and they're just gonna be out on bookshelves.
Or what's going to fucking happen is the show's going to finish the story, and they're just going to rewrite the series based off of the show.
Nah, they wouldn't do
I have a feeling
He's
that's
already
something
told
they
him
could
the
do.
ending to the
Well, of
the
course
thing
he's told
in
him
case
the
he
fucking
dies.
ending. No, it's not because in case he dies. They're making a fucking show. They need to know what story they're telling.
And he has said
man, if he's
himself
gonna
he
take-
likes the show and the way the show's taken the story, and he says if he could rewrite the series, he would do it the way the show did it. And I just have a feeling that
Well, what's
he's
better
going to
to
come
you?
out with the version 2, and it's going to follow the timeline of the show.
What's better to you?
I like both. I mean, you can only read up to so far in the series, and it was sort of different from the show at that point, but not drastically so. But now you just don't know because the book's not out.
Well, the thing is it's gotten to the point where I can't remember.
Wheel
sometimes.
of Time or Game of Thrones?
Wheel of Time or Game of Thrones?
Or excuse me, Song of Fire and Ice.
It's Ice and Fire.
Which is not as
well,
it does not flow. For being a writer, he chose a terrible title,
I think it's awesome.
as a complete series, I quite enjoy Wheel of Time.
because it's done.
But one interesting thing about Game of Thrones and why it's such a good TV show is that there's a main theme and several subplots going on at the same time that is just really enthralling as you're reading it. I mean, they're both good. I mean,
Okay, there's like a
the
billion subplots going in fucking Wheel of Time.
in Wheel of Time, though, you're just fucking out at sea in this fucking vast doldrum in the middle of the journey. Whereas you don't quite get that in Ice and Fire.
Yeah, book 3 of that series is incredible, and
Book
that is
3
the
of Wheel
middle.
of Time is pretty good too.
That is the middle of the series, but that's like a 10. It's fucking amazing. It's season
But not,
3 and 4
not
of the
quite
show.
the same way as Game of Thrones, though, with all the subplots and backstories going on.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
if they
quite the
made
same.
that into a TV show, I could see it being better.
As a TV show
Yeah.
for Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time.
because the most
there's a
graphic
lot that-
section-
Better than the greatest show ever.
There's a lot that they can cut down on, and there's a lot that they can make.
If
like,
HBO does it,
It's not
But
an
they
HBO friendly series. 'Cause
it's not sexy
There-
enough.
there's
That's what I was going to say. The
it
most
gets sexy
sexually
in a
graphic
few
thing
parts.
is that she keeps holding her arms and her
She
breasts.
takes off her top.
Yeah.
She takes off her top.
Who?
It's in one of the Brandon Sanderson ones. So like my jaw dropped to the ground. I was like, this Mormon guy is writing a sex scene.
Wasn't the other guy Mormon
Matt's
too?
wife at the end. They have sex, and then Rand has sex in like a chapter apart with both. He has sex with Avienda, Egwene, or Elaine, not Egwene, and
I was like,
Nynaeve.
that's weird.
Nynaeve, you mean
Or not Nynaeve, Min. Sorry.
Them village
God,
girls.
he's going after everybody now.
Oh, fuck it.
And it was like, Lan, may I?
He's the best character in the book, as far as I can tell.
Man, he's pretty fucking
He
awesome.
used to be pretty.
He's the Hound.
He's the Hound.
I was
Him
like,
and
oh, cool.
Tom, I really like Tom too. But I think Wheel of Time could be a good TV show. The problem, the actual real world problem with that is that they're going to be compared to Game of Thrones, and they are not. It's not as brutal as Game of Thrones is in most parts. So Game of Thrones is brutal often. Wheel of Time is brutal selectively.
So it'll be slower.
So it won't be like there's no shock value with the series. So it's going to seem like a more juvenile series in
more
comparison.
tame.
So it's going to be Vikings, basically.
So it's going to be
Yeah,
be
kind
compared negatively to Game of Thrones. And Wheel of Time did come first by a few years.
Yeah.
And it does have a lot of similarities to Game of Thrones plot-wise. It's a lot. Okay, so if Game of Thrones had sex with Lord of the Rings, that would be Wheel of Time. With a little bit of Conan mixed in there as well. So it's going to be compared a lot if they do a TV show version, which is what they're working on. Sony Pictures has the rights, and they are working on a TV show for Wheel of Time.
Did you see the?
My problem is that
Yeah, we've seen it.
Yes.
Have you seen it, Joe?
yes,
We watched it on the couch. It was
I
fucking
did not.
dumb.
I read that book, and I don't remember. I couldn't figure out what was going on,
Oh, it's just the prologue.
and it was bad.
It was just the
It
prologue.
was so
yeah.
bad. And Billy Zane? Anyway, all right. Of all the people.
Yeah, released at midnight on some random channel.
It was like a sci-fi.
I do
2 or
have a
some
curse that every time I read or listen to a book, I'm thinking, like, how could this be a movie? I did it all the way through Wheel of Time. And, like, there's things like, oh, okay, I would probably cast... If it were a few years ago, I would have cast Andrew Garfield as Rand, personally. I would like Brad Pitt to play Lan. I think he would be great. He'd like the big warrior guy. Yeah, I think so.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep. I think it
don't-
would be cool to see him in that
Joe,
role.
I now question your
think,
ability to direct.
All right. I think I was thinking of Moraine. I was thinking like a Jennifer Connelly.
Maybe
Probably do her.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like a Jennifer
The other
Connelly
two,
now.
definitely not. But
No,
maybe.
not
Maybe.
Andrew Garfield as Rand. Are you kidding?
No, not at all. Rand is supposed to stand out from everyone
Not at the
around him.
beginning.
Yes, at the beginning.
Yes, he's
he
like
was
way taller
a foot
than
taller than
everywhere.
everyone else.
Yeah.
had
he's
red
got,
hair,
and he's got red hair. Like that's
Rand stands out on a
Get the
physical
Ron Weasley
standpoint.
guy. Oh, never mind. That won't work. He doesn't stand out physically.
You would have to beef him up a little bit.
a lot.
Who's a huge
lot of
redhead guy? I don't know of anybody.
I don't know.
Maybe
any
Carrot
stars
Top
that are like that.
That'd be
no.
awful.
I mean, he can be a little he can be a little
Him, it
lanky
was like
in the
he's
beginning.
the
Worst.
right age. He's got the right amount of like he's got the right amount of fame behind him, being Spider-Man, and it's like I would strongly consider having him unless
I can't
you like did
see
some
Andrew
blind
Garfield
casting and
without
find
hearing his
somewhere else.
fake Southern accent anymore.
Well, I have never seen that movie,
It's a great movie.
and I really liked him in Social Network. So at the time when I cast Andrew Garfield in my head, I was probably on book 4.
No,
And
not Andrew
I was
Garfield.
like, I think I could
Dude,
do
that's-
Andrew Garfield.
It's terrible.
No? Who would you have? So you can't think of anyone because
I
you
would
got this
have to-
Rand in your mind.
I would have to do line casting. Like I wouldn't. There's no way I could just pick an actor to be that. It's
No,
Can't.
it's too. I was also thinking. Let's see.
that's a definitely not.
That's a definitely not. Okay, fine.
Same with
I will
Lan.
listen-
Lan would no.
I could see.
No.
I could see Brad Pitt as Lan. Like
No.
like muscly Troy
No.
Brad Pitt as Lan.
No,
Yep,
no,
totally see
no.
it. He wouldn't do it because it's a supporting role.
No.
But that would be. Who would you have as Lan? Besides Boromir from Lord of the Rings,
That guy would be pretty good.
Sean Bean.
But yeah, he could do an okay Lan.
I was thinking Lan would be a more handsome guy.
No. Lan is not described as
Lan-
handsome.
Yeah, he's not supposed to.
That would be.
super
I would
big.
watch that
He's a king.
if it was him.
He's described
also
as
wouldn't-
regal.
I would not-
He's described as having severe
I
features.
would not count. I would not. Oh, excuse me. I would not cast anyone from Game of Thrones into Wheel of Time. That would be
Okay, Schweiss.
an important.
What's the
distinction.
name of the guy who plays the main character in Vikings?
I also would
something-
not cast anyone from Vikings into Wheel
Something
of Time.
Skarsgård, I think. I don't know.
Because that guy would be an okay Lan, I think. Although he's way more handsome than Lan should be.
I would cast him as handsome though. I would cast up. He's got to be with Nynaeve, so you gotta like.
You don't have to do a complete 1-to-1 on everything.
No, I was thinking
who'd
like
be-
star
you know who'd
power
be
and
a good Lan?
Keanu Reeves.
The guy from Highlander.
Dude, he's too old.
He's
I
too
know he's
old
too old
now,
now,
yeah.
but back in the day,
Welcome.
but back in the
Yes. Mortal Kombat.
day, back in the day,
That was back in the day.
he would have been a good Lan for what I think of what Lan would look like.
Fuck, what is that guy's name?
I
only remember-
Christopher Lambert and
Lambert.
Adrian
Okay,
Paul.
yeah. I only remember his name as being fucking Connor McLeod.
Connor McLeod. Anyway,
It's the Highlander.
There can be only
so you
one.
you're okay with my Moraine casting?
That one's okay, yeah.
Okay.
It's Travis Fimmel. That's the other guy's name.
I could see that big redheaded dude from Game of Thrones being like Tom or something like that.
No, Tom is
Tom's a
older, too.
performer. So Tom is an acrobatic. He's a performer. He's lithe. He's quick. He's not big and brawny. So
Plus
for
he's got-
Tom, you would think of just like a good in shape older gentleman would be a good Tom.
You know what probably happened? Probably didn't remember
Christian
these
Bale,
character descriptions
Tom.
for a long time, and I just
No.
thought of their characters while I was reading. Like, who would be able to play this guy? Like, I don't remember what they were supposed to look like at one point, except for Rand, which I still think Andrew Garfield would be good.
No, God
At
no.
the very beginning of the series, he would have been. At the later end of the series, when he's all like dark and broody and stuff, maybe not.
Maybe Keanu. Maybe.
no.
Supposed to have red hair.
Could you see
And I
Keanu's
could
Land?
see Andrew Garfield like sporting
No.
red
Just
hair.
like the
Can't see
dry
Keanu
demeanor,
Reeves.
though.
Really,
Just the
dude.
dry demeanor, full of
Dude,
purpose.
I honestly,
can't see anyone.
it's really hard for me to see Keanu Reeves as anyone outside of like fucking Bill and Ted. That's honestly like I can't do it. He's Ted. That's just it.
Anyway, I don't think they should make a series out of it. I think if they're going to make series, they should do movies and not TV show because they will be so compared to Game of Thrones. It's going to go into Game of Thrones' favor, not in Wheel of Time's favor.
Yeah.
Source material is just not as brutal, and people who watch Game of Thrones will be disappointed watching Wheel of Time.
It would be a pretty good movie series. It would take a while though.
I think Catherine Winnick, chick who plays Lagertha, should just play everybody in this Wheel of Time
Oh,
show.
yeah.
I would watch
Dude,
it.
she is pretty hot.
What if she played men?
I don't care.
Could you see her as men?
No dress up
No.
either. She would just be the same
She could
in
be-
every person, just like
She could
pretending
do
to be
Elaine. Elaine or
Elaine?
maybe.
Elaine's
She's
also
blonde,
red
though.
hair, isn't she?
No, Elaine is blonde.
Elaine's blonde. Could she do Elaine? No, she's too old right now to do Elaine.
Well, she is almost 40, and she's Canadian.
I
Yeah.
don't fucking
Yeah.
care.
Problem is the characters start real young.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
There's not a lot of actors in that range.
Doesn't matter.
She's hot
It'll,
enough she can do whatever the fuck she wants.
You know what happened to the actor who
What about-
plays
okay.
Bran?
The main guy in 300, what's his name?
Gerard Butler.
That guy's Lan.
Yeah, he could do
I
it.
could
He's
see
kind
that.
of
That's fine.
kind of fat
Yeah.
now, but he could work
I mean,
out.
yeah, it's because of just roles and stuff. But he can get.
It's because he's not doing the
fit shape.
fucking Spartan thing. Their workout was like ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it was.
I should
Yeah,
probably
he
do it.
can get back. I could see that. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm
Gerard
okay with
Butler.
that.
Okay, we're all cool with Gerard Butler. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's call the producers. And
Be
we'll call
like, we
Gerard
have
Butler.
land.
We got
Gerard,
land.
we need you.
We're still arguing about Andrew Garfield, but we have land.
not even on the table.
I cast Andrew Garfield like way early on. So
I can no, because he just doesn't
Just
stand out.
post-Social
I could
Network.
see Andrew Garfield as Matt more than I can see him as Rand.
I could see him as Matt. I think that is actually better casting for Andrew Garfield.
I could
That's a
see him
good
as
point.
Matt. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, Andrew Garfield is Matt.
I can be
better.
okay with that.
All
yeah.
right. Who's parent?
He'd have to be another
Buff-
beefy guy
buff,
who's
broody.
almost as tall as
For the
Rand
12
character.
listeners we have that have read The Wheel of Time, this
Buff-
is a really
buff and
interesting
broody.
conversation.
Yeah.
Buff and broody.
Yeah.
That's rough for a 20-something-year-old, like
Yeah.
a 23-year-old. Have fun finding that. I'm gonna have to think on that one for
Again,
a long time.
the guy who comes to mind that would fit in my mind is the character that the bastard son of the king in Game of Thrones, who's
Gendry?
the Smith, Gendry. He would make a Perrin. Yeah, he'd be a good Perrin. He does the strong and broody really well.
Did you even watch season 7, Caleb?
No, I didn't.
Gendry, yeah. I could see he won't look the same as he does in Game of Thrones, but
no.
that actor,
Yeah.
I think I could probably see
That something like that would work. He pulls off that.
But also, that is such an unfilmable storyline. The Perrin stuff, anything in the dream world, anything Perrin, anything where they're fighting with magic. I'm thinking in my head, how do you film this?
It just
That's
be
a real problem. That's a real.
that
it's a
turns it
head
into a
scratcher.
psychological thriller at that
But,
point.
I mean, the series does build up to it. Me and Craig, of course, talked about this for an hour. The series does build up to that, so maybe you can slowly start adding in those crazy magic elements. Anyway, all right, enough Game of Thrones or enough Wheel of Time talk. I think we should probably wrap this up. You can tweet me at Joseph Igolier,
Me at Obsidian Ba.
Me at Nude Clan Cam.
Me at UFF Podcast.
nudeclan.net. Support the show by going to audibletrial.com/nudeclan. Pick up a Wheel of Time book and just try out the service. It's really great. I use it all
So
the
do
time.
I.
So and I'm 43 books into the year right now. That's how I figure out where I am in the calendar. 43 books in. I also you can go to patreon.com, support the show that way, and PayPal link, Amazon link on nudeclan.net. You can click through, check out the other shows, Ultima, Final Fantasy, the Godzilla podcast, and Puff Puff Hour, Dragon Quest podcast, and well, geez, I think that's about it. You got anything, Schweiss?
Yeah, I just want to thank a new patron that we got recently. Thank you for My Locks and also Marcus Laurer for your recent pledges to the Nude Clan. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Make sure you guys go on and vote. We should have Nude Clan points, Super Hog due in a couple weeks. So get those prepped. I know a lot of people get them in on time, but some people don't. So if you need the extra time, do it now because it'll still be there. And we'll see where everybody's at. Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Enjoy the nude.
May the list go on.
Live always in the nude.
F-f-f-f-f.
Yeah!